Sir Jeremy, you are a true friend of the crown. Dilly dilly.
Dilly dilly.
Madam Susan, you are an even truer friend of the crown. Dilly dilly.
Dilly dilly.
What is that?
This is a spiced honey mead wine that I have really been into lately. So, dilly dilly, right?
Please follow Sir Brad. He's going to give you a private tour of the Pit of Misery.
I'm sorry, what? Pit of misery, dilly dilly. Dilly dilly.
Dilly dilly.
All right, everyone. So it's Friday night. I'm getting ready to go out. This is the look. I'm feeling kind. But before I go out, I've got to pregame. And the only way I pregame is with an ice cold Bud Light. So good.
How dare you?
Hey, Dave, the day's over. Time for Bud Light.
I can't. I have to cut the cheese.
I thought you cut the cheese already.
It wasn't me.
I heard you cut the cheese this morning.
I like to cut the cheese in spurts throughout the day.
You should cut the cheese first thing in the morning like me. Otherwise, it starts backing up.
I couldn't. My girlfriend was here this morning, and you know how that goes.
I cut the cheese in front of my girl once. I never heard the end of it.
You ever see a woman cut the cheese?
Nah, they don't do it right. They're too delicate.
My grandmother cut the cheese all the time. Especially as she got older.
Hey, guys, I'm gonna be in the back. I'm gonna pinch a loaf.
Want me to pull your finger?
Will you pulling my finger help me cut the cheese?
Oh, yeah. If I pull your finger, you'll be cutting the cheese within seconds.
Oh, yeah. I have to run. Gotta drop the kids off at the pool.
Nice.
Hey, take a Bud Light. What's this?
It's a Bud Light gender makeover.
Makeover.
Makeover? Have we tried that before? I don't know. Check the memory bank.
Nothing.
Must be new. All right, let's drink this, puppy.
Sip initiated.
Tastes like homo.
Taste buds approved? Let's show we like it.
Commencing homo face.
Oh, too much.
Oh, too much. Oh, God. What are you guys doing? Let's see. I got to catch up with all you fellas. But first, let's see. Does this thing still work? How come whenever I go to use it, it doesn't work anymore? Oh, wait. Something happened. Oh, wait. This is to twist it.
Bop it. Twist it. Bop it. Twist it. Bop it. Pass it. Twist it. Pull it.
You pull it.
Twist it. Pull it. Twist it. Pass it. Pull it. Twist it. Twist it. Bop it. Bop it. Pass it. Pull it. Bop it.
Almost.
Twist it. Twist it. Twist it. Bop it. Twist it.
It's getting faster. What? Oh, what are you guys doing? Hey, guys, do me a favor. Oh, I want to pull. You guys want to pull my finger? Did you see that? So what do you think of the spring thing? That is nice. That's just relaxing. I wasn't even going to put music to it. Go to sleep. Let me put it down. Let me put that guy out of the way. The Bop It tool, right? No, I haven't been practicing it. My daughter's really good at it. Hey, Christina, are you here? I see them talking on the text window or something. Let me see. Let me catch up with you guys. I want to show you something. You see those Chinese people making that crazy music, right? Well, we need to take a closer look at that. What's in that picture? We'll do that in a minute. Let me scroll up and see what you guys are doing. Oh, sorry. I just ate real quick. Trying to get my ass in gear. And see, Jamie says, "Hey, Arch, if the episode is going to be an all-nighter," no, I hope not. Ken's here. He says, "Dilly dilly." Robert Malice, "Dilly dilly." Uncle Archie, time otherwise it's a pit of misery to you. Brett says dilly dilly. Gabe, hey Gabe, welcome to the channel. Hope all is well in your neck of the woods. So far so good. It's a little cold out. Hence says, yep, evening all. Hello Ken. They're all saying hi. Let's see. I'll come down here. Everybody's saying hi to each other. It's good. I said, I'm coming. Definitely going to buy the Van de Kamp's beer battered fish fillets again. Cooked up a few for dinner in the air fryer tonight. Ooh, that does sound good. Yeah, damn. Bloodnose says, welcome, Blood. Lavender blue, dilly dilly. Lavender's green. When I'm a king, dilly dilly, you shall be queen. Yeah, that sounds awesome, Brett. Bloodnose. Who told you so, dilly dilly? Who told you so? 'Twas mine own heart, dilly dilly. That told me so. Bloodnose, it's funny. We got a poet in the house. A poet, and he didn't even know it. Tell me why you might drink, dilly dilly. I'm trying to catch up. You guys are all into the dilly dilly. I think that's funny. This is the Francis Lang is here. Good evening, Francis. And here's Uncle Archie, Bloodnose. Yep, we're all screwed, dilly dilly. Yeah, this is reminds me of our slide machines. Yeah, right. I definitely want to get some machines. Hopefully someday. That's something I'm looking forward to. I'm hoping that maybe someday I can get even some smaller ones here. I don't need anything too big, but it would be nice. Backwoods says, Arch, good evening. Says hello to Brett. Everybody's chatting, saying hi to him. Johnny Bravo says 2 weeks from tonight, we lose an hour of that weekend. Yeah. But we're going to have more light, so I'm into that. Isn't that Jackie Chan and Terrell? Yeah. Rose says hello Backwoods. Saying hey to Ken. Let's see, Bloodnose Backwoods. Jamie, hello. Yeah, I'm getting there. I'm almost there. I'm glad we spring ahead. Sunsets will be here. Yeah, the sunset definitely after 7, 8:30 as we move on. Over here, it's like, there are times it's like 9 o'clock at night. Cut the cheese. Yeah. Johnny Bravo says, good evening, gents. Feeling domesticated tonight. Baking cookies. Nice. Let's see. Hatches Zook. What's a Zook? Let's see. Cut it. Oh, pinch it, drop it. Yeah, cut it. Pinch it. Drop it. Yeah, that's a good one. You could just make up all kinds of stuff to that. Dropping the kids off at the pool. Squeezing out a grumpy. Nice. Robert says, someone call the asylum. Uncle Arch has escaped. Yes. I hear the sirens. They're coming. Backwoods is the classic taking the Browns to the Super Bowl. Yeah. See, didn't take long before our conversation really turned to shit. Yes, it did. Yeah, just wanted to show you guys that thing real quick. Let me cue it up. It's actually kind of funny if you look closer. Let's see if we can cue this up. Hold on, give me a minute. What did I do with it? Let's see. I know I put it somewhere. Is this it? Yeah, this is pretty much it. I'll have to scroll through it. Yeah, this is it. Hold on. Let me set it up. Let's see. We'll do it, I guess, do it over. Can I do it over here? I might be able to. Let's see. Does it look like when I stick it on this monitor? There we go. Now look at this guy, right? Look. It's really interesting to see this. Like, I'm looking at the equipment, and there's this weird antenna thing going on, like right over here. I don't know. Is that their wireless or something? Is that what like Jimmy Page used, like when he was playing that tune with his hands? I forget what they call that device, right? Let's see. I can't really zoom in, and there's all of these weird, I don't know what these are. They're like candlesticks, the spears in them. I don't know what the hell this stuff is over here, which I just think is bizarre. Let's see. Let's move forward a little bit. This guy's banging, I don't know what. Like, they keep doing the drum solo. These guys are standing around in the background here. They seem to be pretty into it. But look at the brickwork over here. That's like falling apart. For some of these people. Now, look at all these bricks over here. What is all this crap? What's with all these bricks? Now, this guy, he's a good singer. He's really into this. He just fires right off. This is more bricks. I don't know what this guy's playing here. It is a very strange instrument. And what is this, clothes or something over here? There's some kind of slate. There's the weird wires. I'm not sure what the heck's going on. Let's see. Let's move forward. All right. Up, more stuff in the back. It's like a junkyard. A gigantic water bowl. And there's some kind of steam coming out of this cooker or something. I don't know. I guess they're having dog or cat for dinner tonight. And I think the other interesting, too, is this guy here, the guy that sings, he stands up to sing. And he's singing in some kind of weird microphone. Why doesn't he just stand up for the whole thing? Or why doesn't he just sit down for the whole thing? What is he doing? All right. I mean, does it play? Let's see. Hold on. Let's see if it'll play with music coming out of it. Hold on. I don't think it will because it's not hooked up to desktop audio. It might. It might. No, I don't think you'll hear it on this monitor. But he's really hauling ass. Now look down where he's got this little symbol. He has no hand. He's got this little symbol thing like tied on to his stump, which is kind of sad. You know, I mean, at least he can play. That's nice. What else is going on over here? Yeah, he's really hauling off. And at one point, he picks up, I think it's a kazoo, and he plays. There it is. No, wait, no, he's hitting something. I think he's gonna pick up the kazoo. And he's tying. Well, right now he's tying the cymbal back onto his stump. It's so sad. And then he goes to sing again. What is this? Some kind of like a desk PA mic or something? I don't know. You know, it looks like it might be balanced though. It's got one of those jacks on it. You know, for like the balance connectors. Yeah, there's his little stump there. And in the background, they're all like hanging out. They're doing their thing. It's just weird that the music stops for the drum part. And he hits something. And at one point, he picks up. Yeah, this is it. He plays one note on this kazoo thing. That's it. That's all he does. That's the only time you see that in the whole tune. This guy's still hitting that thing. I think we need more cowbell, definitely, right? Let's move it over. Let's move it over to here. Hold on, move it over to the other so you might be able to hear it. It needs more cowbell for sure. Hold on, we'll bring up this monitor. Definitely more cowbell. Let's see. I don't think you're getting any audio out of it. Hold on, I'll change the audio on it. I got to change the audio setting. Yeah, I'm in the wrong channel. Now you'll probably hear it. Let's see. Yeah, more cowbell. Hold on. He's got tied back on his stump. Let's see if we get the kazoo. More cowbell. Nice little touch there. Oh, here he goes. Just one note on the kazoo. Yeah, we need more cowbell, fellas. You got to have more cowbell. Oh, I thought that was so funny. I actually like that song. I said to my friend Steve, I'm like, how come we never played this song when we were younger? You know, we could have, like, you could have hit on it because he's a drummer. Like, you could have hit on this thing. We would have been all the rage. We could have raged on this tune. He goes, yeah. He goes, instead of playing all that crap like, you know, Clapton and Allman Brothers and everything else, we should have just played this. I said, yeah, we should have done that. It would have been awesome. Yeah, no quarter, right? Something like that. Welcome, my son. Welcome to the machine. Wait, no, let me back up. Squeezing it out. The asylum. I hear the sirens. The classic taking down the Browns. Wait, didn't take long. See, there's nothing to hide and turn your face like Pink Floyd. Welcome, my son. Welcome to the machine. I know Led Zeppelin when I hear it. Yeah. That song sounds really good over headphones. Oh, no. Don't let those of you that are out there that maybe have family around, don't let them hear that. I figured I would just punish us all of us. No, it is definitely not Zeppelin. I know those little wire things, right? What are they? The Furman. No, what is it called again? The theremin. The theremin was the thing with the antennas, and when you brought your hand close, depending on what you were doing, it made all those sounds, right? So what did they do? What was the other song? I can't think of the name of it now. It's been so long since I've listened to that. Been dazed and confused. Yeah, dazed and confused. Didn't he use that thing in that song too? I think he did it in that one too. I don't remember. It's been such a long time. So does No Quarter by Ledge Zeppelin. Ledge. I like it better as Ledge. Ken says, what's inside this symbol? A wonton? Yeah, I was looking at it, I'm like, what? It almost looks like it's the same thing that's in the other guy's symbol. Like, I don't know, butter, some kind of sauce for the wontons or something. I don't know. Maybe that's where they keep it. Oh, it's just, we need more cowbell. What song is that with the cowbell again? I forget. They did that whole skit too on Saturday Night Live with it. I just can't think. I'm shot tonight. Moo moo, more cowbell. It's the Vapors turning Japanese. No, that wasn't it. No. Oh, the time has come. Something like that. Tuck. Fear the Reaper or something like that. That was the song. Don't fear the Reaper. Something like that with the cowbell going. We'll have to put it up. We'll have to go find it. All right, later on. This is Boneyard says, hi, Arch and all. Boneyard, you come a little bit late. You missed all this shit talk, man. We open up the show by eroding, everything, right? Which is, I like that, right? That's fun. I wanted to show you guys some of the stuff that I was playing around with this past couple of weeks. Yeah, I wasn't doing a show last week, as I'll show you some of the stuff I was working on. I set up the cameras. Let me take this off. I don't need this right now. I set up the cameras over at the workbench, and I'm working on Mikey's mini bike. So like last summer or whatever it was, I went through a whole bunch of 5.5 horsepower Takumi motors. And, nothing fancy, those videos, whatever that I was working on. We just threw up a whole bunch of them, and I had a whole bunch, and I showed them, and we tried to start them outside, and I ran them, and they kind of ran crappy. And we found one by the end of that, and I put it aside, and I said, all right, well, this is the one we're going to look at. And it ran pretty decent. So I decided, well, I got to get this mini bike done, and I'll go get the fenders, too. I'll show you some stuff on it. So let me pull that motor out and we'll go through it. And I set it up on the bench. I actually cleaned the bench off. And I set up the cameras in different positions. I also tried out this new microphone stand that I made, which I don't think you can see it in this camera. Yeah, you can see it. There's the camera up there. So I think I showed you guys 2 weeks ago that microphone stand that I made. Camera and microphone stand. And I was like, well, I'll set that up. It seems like I can get a good angle. And then I set up the mic, and I was playing around with the audio system here. I mentioned to you guys a couple of weeks ago that I've been kind of working on that. It's like another one of those projects. Been working on forever. Remember like a year ago when I started the live, it would echo and all that. And then I tried some other stuff, and it sounded kind of distorted. And I tried some other stuff. It's like you just keep playing with stuff, and it's not like a rush. I mean, if you ruin a video, if it doesn't come out great, what do you shoot me? But, I was like, wow, I think I nailed it. And I was able to spend some time with some different settings using this mixer thing over here, because this thing has the ability to mix up the mics as well. And I'm like, I think I nailed it. Or I'm getting closer, right? And I don't want to disturb it because I really don't know what I'm doing. Like I do, but I don't. Like when you're experimenting, you're experimenting. So you want to be able to repeat it. And after I got everything set up, I was still like another day of shooting and some stuff to work on. It was the weekend. Saturday night, I was getting tired, was doing other stuff. And I was like, don't disrupt it. Don't fuss with it. You really don't even know what you were doing. You haven't really looked at it. Spend another day or so playing around with it. Continue getting the shots that you like. You're happy with it. Don't touch it. Don't break it down and move everything over here. Because at one point I made this microphone camera stand to thinking, well, I won't move it. I'll just kind of screw it in here and it'll live and it'll always have this setting. And I'll always be pointing, and it'll be one less thing to do for a live show. Just drop the camera, turn the little thing on there. It's like a grip that grabs it, and that grabs the shoe, and just plug it in. And then I was like, no, I like this thing. I think it's useful elsewhere. Great. So I still don't have a permanent one for here. So I was looking into that, what would it cost to buy something that I could just put on here that would be single use. So that's coming eventually. I didn't want to touch it. And I'm like, well, I'm tired anyway. I may as well just skip the show because this, what's more important? Really what's more important is getting certain things right. I was really enjoying the sort of going over that engine. And again, we'll take a look at it in a minute. And I got a nice HIPAA carburetor on it, and I brought it outside, and I spent some time tuning it. So I got a lot of stuff done, and I was really tired. And that's the problem with diabetes, is that when my blood sugar goes up, like just now I went back in, I started the show, I'm like, I better go check, I don't feel right. Because I ate a second, dinner. And what happens is your blood sugars go up. When your blood sugars go up, they're not in your muscles. They're not in your heart tissue and your mitochondria. They're not in your brain, right? Those sugar molecules basically is what runs everything. And if it's in your blood, it's not where it's supposed to be. As a result of that keeps happening to me. And then you get tired. Let me see what you guys do. Yeah. Was it Blue Oyster Cult? Is that who it was? Yeah, I think so. Yes. Yeah, Blue Oyster Cult. Yeah, they were good. I liked all that old music. Been checking out Don't Fear the Reaper, Blue Oyster Cult. Yeah. Dilly dilly. One of the things I want to play with later on. By the way, Ken, I wanted to just hit you up for I like what you did with your show. I was trying to listen to what you were saying. I missed the very beginning, and the guys kept interrupting you. So I think I figured it out, right? Yeah, let me just see. Kids, you're wearing a kilt. Yes, I'm wearing a kilt. It gets cold in here. Yep. Says, I'm going to try out the WD-40 Specialist electronic cleaner I found at Walmart today. Oh, yeah, nice. I want to get that, and I want to order. Yeah, my daughter gave me this. Yeah, it gets cold. Even though I have the heater over here and the big heater up there, it just gets cold. Although I feel like it's kind of warm in here right now. I might turn down that heater, but it gets drafty. It's like a drafty shop, where I live. Francis Lang says, what's in the mug? So this is just coffee. I can't really drink anything too much because if you drink alcohol and you're a diabetic, your blood sugars will it'll kill you. I can have a beer every now and then, but then I really got to watch. So that's just coffee. This is water with lime or lemon, and then there's a couple of squirts of what is it? It's either blackberry or currant, or maybe it's elderberry, I think is what it is, and chlorophyll. Not chloroform, chlorophyll. So that's a good thing to drink. You need more, though. That keeps your whistle wet, and it's good for you. So, other than smoking and drinking coffee, I try to take care of myself. The last live stream was equivalent to, say, 4 of them. Yeah, I think we were on till after 4. Yeah, so we tried out, and I just wanted to hit Ken. So, Ken, I think what you were saying, I like that. I like that arrangement. It's nice to have a bit of a format. You're going to, for people that maybe don't know, check out Ken Small Engines Live. Whoever's here tonight doesn't know or comes back later on because people watch these crazy live shows afterwards. Saturday, usually starts, around 2. So the first hour is like your tech talk questions answered. And don't forget, you can always, you fellas can always ask questions here too. But you can also ask them on the forum, like you can ask them on the community posts or the community forum. You can sort of preload answers, and those fellas will help you out. So the whole first hour is that. And then it sort of opens up, right? You can still ask questions, but it opens up. Similar to what I do with my show is there's the prologue, right? The pre-show, the intro, the sort of leader, some time for people to gather and hang out. And sometimes my shows are a little bit more, lax or whatever, but you'll see I sometimes bring up a graphic, and it's the points that I want to hit. And that usually takes place at the beginning of the show. And then later on, because I can go to 3 hours a lot of times, and later on, it just gets freer and freer. We check out other people's YouTube channels. It just kind of whatever, you throw stuff up at the wall and see what hits and sticks up there. But I like to have some stuff that I can arrange, have a little bit of structure. It doesn't have to be nailed tight to the wall, just something to where I have an idea of like what I'd like to talk about. And the nice thing about doing it that way is if something occurs in the first part of the show that people bring up or something happens, it usually winds up being fodder for later on, because then you can explore that a little bit deeper. And that's nice. It's a bit of structure, and it's nice to have that. So good on you. And when you're running that many people, like the All Up, that's the NASA, version. Like when they put the Saturn V, they were testing the Saturn V and all these different pieces, right? Because there's a bazillion pieces for Saturn V. And then finally, they were like running out of time. And the story goes that they decided to put everything in the build house in an all-up configuration and just finish the testing or whatever they could do there and put it together. Because at some point, you got to put the damn thing together. So Ken's more like the Hollywood square, what I call the old Hollywood squares layout, when you have all these people in their little boxes, right? That was fun. I actually enjoyed that show when I was a kid. That was kind of cool. So I tried StreamYard 2 weeks ago, and it's nice. It's cool. We hung out for 5 hours just chatting and fooling around, and I couldn't really get it to work right. And also, it's in the signal chain, it's the wrong application for what I'm doing here. It will not connect to all of this stuff. It comes in the signal chain at the end of everything. It's after all the computers and this program that I'm running here. And this is YouTube Studio. So it takes over YouTube Studio. It literally takes it away from you. And it adds some nice convenient features to YouTube Studio. It does. It as it takes it over, it adds some nice things that are somewhat automated. Pretty much I can do everything that does, but then I'd have to actually configure it either in this or a different program, and then I'd have to find ways of automating it. So it does that, but it happens late. Everything is late in the signal chain, which means it will not pick up audio from the stuff I just showed you. It will not get the audio from that. There's no way to pump that audio in. The only way to do that is with a separate mixing board, which is more money. So I'd have to get a pretty decent mixing board of some kind, like a soundboard. And currently right now, this thing is doing some of that. So I'd have to get a decent soundboard, which is, they can be, good amount of money. And I'd have to find a way to connect it to the computer. And this computer is older, and I've got a lot of extra add-on cards in it already. I can't really put anything else into it. I could probably put it into a USB sound card, because I do have some USB 2.0 or 3.0s. But then again, this all has to be tested. Or I'd have to use a different program. And to go through all of that for StreamYard, which is, again, money, you're not going to want to run the free version of StreamYard, because I was looking at it and it's 720p, and the video quality is horrible, and it messes with the audio quality as well. Well, of course, because it's a free version. So then you're going to want to, pay for that. Oh my God, the heck with that, right? It's just not the right application. But there are other applications out there, and I'm not against using it in the future, because I would like some kind of, I used to have a cool sound card in here, and I had a big mixing board for a while that was in this room. And my daughter will tell you, I had huge speakers and many hundreds of watts of amplification, and it had to be loud enough to practice to with my guitar amps, and 2 guitar amps. But all that's gone now, and I do kind of miss it. I don't think I want anything that humongous, but it would be nice. And I was actually able to record to the computer and do stuff in Cakewalk and programs like that. But I can't do any of that. With this setup, I can't really even record music because these things handle video and audio together. And you're try to sync the audio and keep the audio in sync with the camera. When you start adding in all these other feeds, they're not in sync. And then you're going live. So YouTube Studio is something of a delay. All of these different things that I do with interjecting audio and video, they're in slight delay. And then StreamYard is in it can get to be a few seconds. When we were testing it, it was pretty good here. That night, we were playing around with it a few times, and we were trying to see how out of sync it was. And it was pretty tight, but it's a few seconds, even milliseconds. Like, if it's the wrong kind of millisecond, I've tried it, and I can't play to it. I can't play to any music if I'm playing, and I can't hear it properly. So, depending on how it's piped in, this could be in a delay that's not correct to what I'm playing. So I tried it, and it just fried my brain. There was no way I could anticipate what kind of delay it was, because it's just not. When as a guitarist, when you set your delay on your amp and you're hearing it, you're standing right there, and you're adjusting it to what your brain can handle and what you're anticipating. What winds up happening is you become so far out to everything else that's going on, you almost have to teach your brain to play ahead of the music before it's even happened. And that's crazy talk. You know, that's insane. Let me catch up with you guys. Let's see. What's in the mug? No, the glass one. Yeah, the glass one is Francis. The glass one is that stuff that I was telling you about. It's nice. I need a little bit more. Let's see. The last live stream is cool. Yeah. Henry's here. Hey, Henry. Coffee spells backwards. Effuck. I don't give an effuck about. Until I have my coffee. Yeah, coffee. Yeah. Oh, there's my daughter. What does she say? I'm here and watching, but you're on my TV. Oh, that's cool. Nice. Yeah, it's my daughter. She's over at her apartment. Yeah, she's actually moving back in soon. That didn't quite work out with her friend. I'll get to that in a minute. I don't want to say too much because, it's her private life, but there's something funny in there, though, that I wanted to share with you fellas, because it's just so horrible. Was doing voice impressions. Yeah, we were doing that later on. She say attachment. Let's see if it comes through. Oh my God, look. Oh, that looks nice. Why does that look so eerie? Let's see. She's sitting watching on her bed. That's cool. It looks so eerie. I'm still low tech. Ken says, was doing voice. Ken says, I'm still low tech. Boneyard says, me too, Ken. Bio break. Be right back. Yeah, the P. I'll have to put up the P girl in a little while. Yeah. I still use a 4-track cassette tape to record my music. They worked good. Tractor, Kristen. Tractor. Yeah, they work good. The 4-trackers, we use them, the Fostax and stuff. I remember using that stuff. Oh, yeah, for years. You think about when I was like living in my apartment over at the old place, and even when I was younger, but in those days, though, I was practicing a lot to learn, all these tunes for sessions and to play out, and you just got to learn like 100 songs. And you'd get to a part, and you're like, what the hell was that? And you got to hit the rewind button, and you got to stop it, and you got to play it. And you're like, what the hell was that? And you got to hit the rewind button, you got to stop it, and you got to play it. What the hell was that? I'm going to remember. And then later on, they came out with the thing where you could dial the counter and tweak the counter so that it would only go back to whatever the counter was. And I forget which deck I had. I still have a Sony doubling deck up there somewhere. I never did throw that out. I was afraid to. I didn't want to sell it either because, I still have some tapes around. I don't think I really want to get rid of it yet. So it's just in a plastic bag up there somewhere. But now I see all these old stereos that are out that we had back in the day. People are collecting them again, and some of them are worth some money. I had some nice Sansuis. I had, Silverface. Let's see, what was it? Was it a Sansui? There was a Sansui, and there was a couple of them that I had. I forget the last one. But I had some nice Sansuis. I had Silverface. I had, Silverface. Was it a Sansui? There was a Sansui, and there was a couple of them that I had. I forget the last one. Was it a Sansui? There was a Sansui, and there was a couple of them that I had. I forget the last one. I think I sold them all. I had a nice ADC turntable with the straight, like one of the first straight low mass tone arms that was made out of carbon fiber. I think it was an ADC. That thing was nice. It had a piece of concrete in the base. It was really stable. It was so stable. I think it was like late 80s, mid to late 80s. I had the Altec Lansing Voice of the Theater PA bins in my room. And I remember I put the turntable on top of one of those PA bins. And I was like, look, fellas. And I played a record and cranked it. And it really, if you had to drop a little more weight on the tone arm, because it had an adjustable weight system that you could add weight, it had like a vernier caliper style thing on the back that you would tweak it. And you would start off with like zeroing it so it would just go into balance and float. And then you could dial it and it would add a few grams, however many grams. And I think I had like 2.5, 3 grams, and I would crank. And it was fine. It actually worked fine. It was a really nice turntable. Let's see. Come up and talk to us, Christina, right? Rod says she has some curly hair, which is so perfect. Yeah, I know. And it says, the Iowa reel-to-reel. I had a TIAC reel-to-reel, and I think I managed to pull some stuff off of that. Yeah, the TIAC was really cool. Boneyard says, I have some Silverface Pioneer. Yeah, those were nice. Yep. The Silverface Kenwoods, those are really nice. The reel-to-reel I mounted into, what was that company that made all the like cheap audio gear? They used to come in these like fake wood racks with the glass door. I forget which one it was. But I mounted the reel-to-reel in there and I put it in the studio. And one of the things I liked about it is it had 2 speeds. It had the normal speed and you could run it on really slow. And you'd load up the reels and I would just leave it on and then I would just press record. And when we would jam and play, I could pretty much forget about it because, if you're trying to play a guitar and practice with the band, you really can't be worried about what's going on with recording you can barely get microphones set right and everything because you're trying to concentrate. So you don't spend a lot of time with that. And it would just run. And he says, hey, peeps. Yeah, the Fisher was nice. There was another, the cheap one, the Technics. Remember all the Technics gear? Yeah, the Sony stuff was nice. Carl says, I still have a phase linear digital ambience delay system, an old Pioneer CTF 900 cassette recorder, and an old JVC 8-track recorder. Those things are starting to become, they're all going, tractor. They're all starting to become worth a little bit of money now. Because, we're getting older, and they were, not for nothing, they're actually pretty damn good. Let's see. Let me click on that. This is the stupid heart thing. Why did they put the heart thing? I don't know why they have to put it like literally right there at the bottom right. Do you guys know how to get rid of that? That is so annoying. Right on the text thing. Even when you pop the text chat out, it's still there. It's like, why would they do that? I can't read the last thing that somebody says. Charlie Meows, hi. Let's convince Dad to get a tattoo of a tractor. No, I don't do tattoos. Mr. Molo, nothing beats the sound of real vinyl. I know. It is the best. It goes back to the old argument that we have with tube amplifiers for guitars versus, like something, certainly not MP3, but like a wave, right? Tape was pretty decent, but the vinyl, most of us would say that the vinyl was better, but tape was pretty decent. You could get, the big reel-to-reels were really nice. And for years, all of the masters were done on those big old reel-to-reels, right? 12-track or whatever. They mixed them all down. These things were huge. And it just sounded right. There was something about it that sounded right. The vinyl, the way it vibrated. And a tube amplifier has something to do with these additional harmonics that are made from the way a tube reacts. And I think the bigger thing is that with tubes, if you're not a heavy metaler, heavy metal guitarists use a lot of compression and effects. And compression what compression usually tends to do is it squeezes down the highest volume and it'll bring up the lowest volume. And depending on how you tweak that, that's what it does, right? So if you're playing loud and you're playing live as a guitarist, a tube amplifier is reactive to the coils in the guitar. So when you hit the string, if you hit the string hard, it drives the coil harder, which drives the tube harder. And if you're loud, the tube will start to distort if you set it up like that. A transistor won't do that. And then if you play lighter and lower, the signal is lower and it can't drive the tubes as hard, so it comes cleaner. So as an expressive guitarist, if you want to get a little more aggressive and put a little more hair on a note, or have a note be one note be a little louder than the note after it or before it, or something like that, a tube amplifier without all this compression nonsense, it will do that. It will give you that. A transistor amp won't really do it like that. It doesn't have that sort of built into it. Do you always need that? No, you don't. Depending upon where you're playing or what you're doing, you may not even want that. And if you're doing like a lot of heavy metal stuff, you're cutting out so many frequencies anyway, and you're enhancing maybe a particular harmonic, and so you're getting rid of a lot of that, and you don't want those dynamics in there. They'd be in your way, and they would get noisy. So for some music, transistors work fine. For other music or other kind of guitar sounds, the tube amplifier is better. But the problem with the tube amps also is they get noisy, right? They pick up a lot of noise from the atmosphere. I mean, I remember playing out, and there was one place where I used to play, and it was near an airport. And sometimes you can't even get the grounding right in where you're playing. There's issues with the electrical system there. And I remember hearing stuff come through from pilots and stuff talking to the tower. You just hear them. You know, they're talking, and it just comes right through. There's ways of filtering it, but like I said, if you're kind of in a catch-22 because, you know, you're plugging into house mains, and that's problematic. So the professionals use their own power systems and filters, and you know, I'm just some schlump trying to play in a bar, right? And what the hell am I gonna do? Right? How much equipment do you really need to drag with you, and who's gonna carry it? That's the other thing too. Tube guitar amps are heavy. I put wheels on all of my guitar amplifiers just for that, because they're just too heavy. Who the hell wants to roll that and carry it? Let's see. Let me catch up. Oh. This is my 1951 Seaberg B with one speaker sounds amazing. Wow, I'd like to see that amp. You should bring that out on one of your live shows just to show people in the second half. Let's see. Brett says, someone was trying to convince me to get the Briggs and Stratton logo tattooed on my arm, right? That's not a bad idea. It's not terrible. It's not the end of the world. Let's see. Robert says, I'm watching this live chat on my 10-inch Kindle Fire tablet so I don't have the heart in the way. Yeah. Dolby noise reduction from back in the day. That actually was pretty good. We used to use the Dolby noise reduction on a lot of stuff. I have a touch of noise reduction on here right now. It's okay. This is not really a proper vocal mic though. This is a shotgun mic. Its beauty is you can aim it and it will pick up what's over there and reject everything to the side. And I can be in the shop, and you know, by rights I can actually have it. I can have it completely out of the shot, right? And it will still sound good, especially if I aim it here, right? I mean, technically, that's what this mic is for. But even though it rejects things to the side, it's not like a vocal mic that we, you know, use in audio. And I sold those too. I had all that shit. Welcome to Going Broke. You know? Let's see, it says, it'll take the first hour just to warm the tubes up. I know. See, Boneyard says, I play old school outlaw country. I have a Fender M80 solid state. That sounds pretty awesome. Yeah, yep. Yeah, Thomas Dolby she blinded me with science. That's a cool song. Yeah, I mean, transistor amps have their place for certain things. Absolutely. Of course, with bass amps, well, there are even bass guitarists that like tube amps too. So some of it's a personal preference. It's their style. For me, I like, I think I have a picture of my amp. Here, let me show you. Let me move some of this stuff out of the way. I'll bring it up over here. Some of the stuff that I did with it. Should be in the 2023 archive. Let's see. Scroll through real quick. I still have something I want to do to it. I want to put a power conditioner on it. And then I'll start using it again. It's like a power conditioner / outlet. Because I need more outlets on the amp itself. Just to make things easier. And cleaner and neater on the floor. Because it's getting busy in here. Let's see. Scrolling away. I saw it recently. I know I have the picture somewhere. It's the newer like Fender Hot Rod, like blues rod style. But I made changes to it. I'll probably make more changes to it in the future. I need like another $100 or so to fool around with it. Is it in here? Maybe it's not. Yeah, maybe it's not in this roll. Yeah, I did move a whole bunch of stuff around. Yeah, it's not there. It's like thrown in something. Yeah, I'm surprised I didn't see it. I'm starting to run out of space, too. So I've been throwing, some of these files into folders, shoving the folders in different places. I know I'm not going to be needing it anytime soon. And if I do, well then, I'll find them then. Yeah, it's not there. It's not going to be in the 2022 archive. I don't think it's been that long. No, I was fooling around with it last year. It must have been during the summer, too. Yeah, I don't know what to do with it. But I mounted an echo box to it, like a rack mounted to the back of it, and I wanted to add on the power distribution with the filtering in it. And I just needed to make another bracket. And it's just kind of shoved out of the way. Yeah, I don't see it. I moved it someplace. I stuck it in a folder with something. It's not in like the generic open folder. It's in a separate folder with other stuff. All right, let me see what you guys are up to. Wrong song, Robert. Thomas Dolby, one of our submarines. My nephew Chris uses Marshall amps when he's out on tour. Yeah, I like Marshall amps. Boneyard says, somewhere on my channel I have a video of guitars I painted and stuff that, I built. If you want to check it out, definitely, I'll check that out. Yeah, there's a couple of videos on my channel of me taking apart this guitar and sticking different pickups in it. I don't really like these pickups. They're kind of lightweight. My friend of mine gave them to me because I wound up getting rid of some really nice older pickups. They're okay, but they're not really hot enough, and I've never really found a pickup in this position that I liked. It's a Yamaha ES335 5 or whatever copy. And I just don't really care for the sound of this bridge pickup. And the Seymour Duncan split coil that I had in the neck area, I should have never sold that because it just had a really nice sound. And depending on whether you split the coils or put them together or not, it had a really good bluesy sound, which I thought was pretty cool. Let's see, there was actually a cut somewhere of me playing it. Let me see. I played it a bunch of weeks ago, like a couple of months ago. We were fooling around. Mike says, "Hey, Mike! Mr. Music, yeah." Let's see, I just look real quick. Yeah, I've been sticking shit everywhere. I need to get like another hard drive, another big hard drive to stick some of the stuff that are backups from a few years ago and just get them off the computer. I'll just look real quick, see if I can find it. There was temp videos incomplete. I wonder what's in that folder. Yeah, oh my God. I have a lot of videos that I've never actually finished. Like they're just not up on my channel. I just never got around to fooling around with them. More stuff to go through. I mean, I probably don't even have to work on another machine or whatever. I could probably just sit back and for a month or so and just go through all my stuff and make videos out of them. Is this it? No, that's not it. Yeah, I wonder where I put them. Well, anyway, I'll look for that later. Let me show you guys some of what I was up to. Which that I happen to have. Right here. Let's go to the right monitor. I'll just catch up real quick. See, nothing like a little yes bass with Chris Squire. Yeah. Barney Stone. Hey, Arch, looking for a Fender guitar. Used. What's a good model for a beginner? You know, really, any of them, anything that you can get that's cheap. I wouldn't mind. I mean, I like the Fenders, but a Telecaster would be fun too. Honestly. I mean, that's kind of neat. What the hell did I do with this stuff? And, you know, not for nothing, there's a lot of really good, these, you know, I don't want to call them knockoff guitars, but if you have a good guitar mechanic, not necessarily a luthier, but like a good tech, or if you want to learn yourself, there's a lot of really good people out there doing videos on guitar tech. And with a few simple tools, you can straighten out your neck and do things like that. Usually what you'll find is for some of these, like, well, this is Japanese, right? This is old now. I bought this new. But I actually broke the headstock off of it. It fell over and I broke it. It wouldn't be the first time. So I put it back, but intonation-wise, it's not hard to deal with intonation. And I think you could probably see some of it. I don't know if you could see it with this. No, you can't see it with that. But it's not hard. And getting the string gauge and the height to where you would like it for that guitar, or what type of neck you want, how big of a fret wire you might like, that's all personal. So I like a slightly rounded neck. I like a relatively thin neck. I like a lightweight wire. I don't like the longer scale length. I just like a standard Gibson scale length. That's what I'm used to. And as long as the frets lay right and you're not getting buzzing and you can get it down to the string height that you want. I mean, that's the mechanics of it. So once that's set, it doesn't matter what it looks like, what color it is, or what it's made out of, because it's electric. So it really doesn't matter. I mean, does the wood affect the tone of the guitar and all that? Yeah, it does to some degree. But I sold my '69 Les Paul because I had no choice. I needed the money. And that guitar played really good. I think I was showing some stupid footage of that with a crappy camera and a lousy microphone. And I didn't have the equipment because I was already getting rid of it. But I fixed it and put it together and I sold it. And that's a lot of money. You're going to need to spend a lot of money on wood like that. But you don't need it, right? So anything that you can find, you could fix anything as long as the thing's not broken in half. And sometimes even then you can fix them, you know? And it's like a fun project. I was watching a fellow that he picked up a guitar for like $150 and he got it to play pretty decent. Okay, for a good, like a shop guitar, knocking around in and whatever. That's awesome. Yeah, John Entwistle, yeah. Oh, yeah. And it says, I just picked up a 5 terabyte external this week. Same reason. Drives are just, yep. That's why I use, I would mind an electronic drive, but I actually don't mind the mechanical drives. You know, the older mechanical spinning discs, because I just need storage. I just need lots of storage. And this computer has a lot of drives in it already. Because I already have, I have NVMe drives in here. And they're in PCI cards. And I've got SSDs, a bunch of them. And, you know, that's for manipulating the videos. I just need stuff for storage. And so I can organize it. So, like, if somebody asks me a question, I don't have to sit here and go, gee, I don't know where I put it. You know, that's horrible. Yeah, I don't remember where I put stuff anymore. Because I'm like literally running out of room. And it's not the first time either. Some of it, too, is I actually need to kind of get rid of some stuff. Like, just like looking through some things. Yeah, this was the moving on thing that I did. I did that a couple of weeks ago. I just showed that. It was horrible, but that was with the guitar. Where is that? Yeah, I'll find some of this stuff for like next week or whatever. I'll just make some more, but that was my Les Paul, and I was playing around with it when I first put it together. Let's see, I bet you something like AV drive. Let's see. Well, it's not there. It's got me wondering. It could be on... See, the thing about the external hard drives is they're external. You got to go get them and plug them in. If they're actually in your computer, you can actually get to them right away. What's a Windows backup? Let's see. Yeah, I'm never going to find it. It's buried. Oh well, let me go to the next thing. Yeah, it's buried there somewhere. I used to keep them in like a separate drive. All of the before I started to do a lot of videos, it did a lot of audio. So that was actually had its own drive. Whether I recorded it or it was MP3 or just wherever it came from, it was just on its own drive. And I mean, you know, that stuff does not take up a lot of room. Even back in the day, it did, I guess, because the drives were so much smaller. But it was just waves and stuff. Let's see. Let's see. He says, Boneyard says, I built a Fender Telecaster and put a Gibson neck on it just because I like the way Gibson neck feels. Boneyard says, I had a Honda guitar years ago and it was terrible. My fingers were bloody trying to play the thing. Yeah, the Hondos, yeah. Robert says, Mr. Gilmore, David J. March, 1945, Cambridge, England, plays a few different models of Fender. Was heartbroken when he sold his black Strat. Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's tough. Yeah, with yes, based with the Chris Squire. Yeah, yeah. I'm kind of pissed that I can't find any of that stuff. It's like I know I moved all of this shit around, and like, what would I have done with it? That's just so weird. He'll turn up. Let me look one more place. I don't think it's under this work folder. Let's just go real quick. Live stream, camera, microphone, as always possible. Smoke. No, it would be there because that drive is running out of room. Yeah, I'm not going to find it. Yeah, it's time. It's time to get another hard drive. That's another reason why I don't want to buy too much of anything. I was just telling my daughter, I just bought ink because I ran out of ink for the HP printer. You know, fax and print and whatever. The factory ink is it's like $200. The you take a chance ink is like $60 because some people are like, we plugged it in, it's dry, or it you know, you get like an error message or whatever. I'm like, oh my God. Everything is just ridiculous expensive. And you're like HP, that's an older one, but HP can be finicky because they don't like it when you stick somebody else's cartridge in there, you know, or they'll tell you it's empty. Let's see, Boneyard leaving. Yeah. Plus I need, you know, I have a pee break, plus I need a cigarette. Yeah. Going to take, having it early tomorrow. Yeah. Okay. See you later, Boneyard. Yeah. I'll find some stuff. I'll make that like a separate thing. I just wanted to show you guys a little bit about the mini bike, but just real quick, I'm going to just run through a few things. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. Getting there. That's what it looked like. Let's see. Is there any? I don't think there may not be any audio on some of these. That was the little motor that was on it. Look at this thing. This is tiny. Yeah, Ken, when are you going to work on your mini bikes? Nice tires, though. Oh, there's Mr. Dog. I don't know what he's doing.
Mama.
He's crying.
Mama. Wants to go see Cretiver? He wants to go see his girl. He can't say her name right. Okay. You want to go in? Yeah? All right, let's go.
Let's see. Let me move forward to where am I? Let's move forward. Getting ready to put on. Yeah, this is the Baja. This is a little Baja motor that was on there. Yeah. That little 97cc engine. Yeah, let's see. I'll scroll down to the latest. Let's see. Is it the... Oh, the doggy's outside. Yeah. Here we go. Here we go. So I went through like all of these different motors just to see what might work. And this wasn't even everything I had. Like I started narrowing it down. And that lays on there nice. That's your 5.5 horsepower Tecumseh. Yeah. All right, let's skip forward. So here's where... Yeah, here's what I was setting up to do. Oh, this is when I was like testing him on the bench. The starter motor is going to squeak. Good for a test. So let's see. Can you have to check the other one? Yeah, so I went through a whole bunch of this stuff. Now let's get to something more new. Let's see. I'll go over to my other drive because not everything is on here yet. There we go. Tore down the best motor after testing it, and we'll just kind of breeze through it. The main tarnish in there. I'm just going to push right through. So I figured, all right, we'll pull the valves out. So the magnet would come up to about here. Check. Whole thing. Check the valve clearance. Right, it was within spec. So I'm like, all right, we'll take the valves out, and we turn this down a little bit. This comes right out. There's the volume knob. Yeah. I'm just scrolling through real quick. A little bit of light porting. A little bit of lapping. Oh, yeah, here we go. The bore looks really nice. I don't know, my phone keeps going off. Hold on. I need my bit more. Yeah, she came nice. Yeah, when I clean it off, I'll get that other little crap. Let's see. Oh, I wonder if I have another exhaust valve. So what I've noticed was, what I'm noticing, by the way, is the exhaust valve. I took another motor apart, and the exhaust valves. This is 2, 4. The stem is smaller on the exhaust valve than it is on the intake valve, and it's sloppier. So most of it. I think it's coming good. A lot sloppier. I setting up. It's a few thousandths thinner than the intake valve. Oh yeah, that looks real good. Through the other Gorilla I'll get some close-ups in a minute. And I'll get you a little. This is another one that I was playing with. You can see the staining in it. You can see it a little bit. That's why this one didn't run good. Just pop this one. You guys can see that in there, I think. Just do it off camera. And let's see, where are we? So here we come. We're coming up to. So that one got rejected. So I was just checking the exhaust valve. I'm like, same problem. And just went over the head real quick. The edges and stuff. So, but it's pretty flat. Not sure what that was from. That was from something I was working on. Check. Moved. All right, we'll put it all back together again. This nice Craftsman. There we go. Oil on. It up. Should fix. It's coming out nice. I got a nice HIPAA carburetor, fully adjustable. All right. Checking the bore size. Velocity. So well. Babbling about some crap. Talk the head down, get everything back together, and she looks nice. That's a nice. She's a good-looking machine. Yeah, it's a good-looking engine. Be backwards on us when we put it to here, because. There we go. Let's see. Machine. I like this kind of hose. We'll put this. I gotta get more of that clear hose. All right, that's ready to go. And then lastly, I think I brought it. Interesting. No, that's not what we want. Let's minimize that. I brought it outside and I did some testing, but I don't know where that is right this second. Let's see. Here we go. How clean it is. I just ran a little bit of solvent in there, a little gas, and wiped it out.
And you can see she's real bright. It just started scuffing. Probably some dirt, carbon in, well,
before I honed
change.
it.
The oil was crappy. I already threw it out. It was sticky and it had, you know, it was still lubricating. Look how beautiful that looks. But it was dirty. And it doesn't take much to start screwing up. Remember, this is an aluminum cylinder. These things don't last. See that guy there?
Yeah, but you can't feel it.
These things don't last. It's just starting to get a little bit of a ridge, too. You can see it there. See the darkness? Okay.
There's still a bit of crosshatch in it. It's in good shape. So this is before I honed it. Let me see if I can find a few more things. Segments, that's different. Let's see. That's 2023. No, we just cracked this open, and it looks real good, fellas. Well, that figures, too, because it ran well. Yeah, that's when I pulled it open. We'll get this clean. And I don't think I put the files in that folder yet. Let's see. Yeah, these are the newer ones. Yeah, that's it. So now I'm fitting it. I'm actually fitting it to the mini bike itself. And open up the slots. Because you get the net. I'll bring you back in a bit. Oh yeah, it's going on there nice. It's about 49 inches. It's too loose. Fitting the chain. I had to order some more chain. All right, it's close, but I really should have connected the chain before I finished up my marks, because there's some marks down in here. Yeah, I should have come closer. So I had to fix that. Getting it dialed in. I had to widen the slots. Engine on. I may have to make a separate plate. Okay, so this is about midway in its travel, roughly, right? Everything's on. That's a little too much. And the throttle cable is shot, so I ordered a cable for that. It looks fairly straight. Should be here tomorrow. I got big washers underneath. So she's... Let's see. Now, I took this thing outside, but I don't remember what I did with the footage for that. I may not have put it... I don't know where that footage is. I mean, I know I recorded it. Oh. It might be in here. Yeah.
There it goes.
It's running out of fuel.
Wow. It's smooth.
Yeah, it was so smooth. Yeah. Now, this is a little dark because I was trying a different camera and I didn't get the settings right, but I can fix that in post. Listen to it purr. It's just beautiful. Let's give it another shot. Listen to that. Yeah, I'll have to lighten it up in post. It was a weird day, too. I was in the dark. It was getting late.
A little over 3,000, 3,100. I turned the idle jet in.
I need to get down below 2,000.
That's not bad.
See, I what I said, 2380?
Or 25.
Yeah, I need a little bit less than that.
Just turned it out a little bit more.
Because the clutch needs to drop. I think the clutch engages at like 23, 25. Or it starts to. But listen to it, though.
All right, I just turned the mixture screw out a little bit. I'm 21, 22.
That'll work.
Good. 2390. That's real sweet.
Let's see, do I rev it up? Yeah, I'll rev it up. Yeah, here we go. I put some more fuel in the hose. Oop, I brought it down a little bit more. What you hear banging is a plate on the bottom of that stand. I should have taken the plate off. It's just laying there loose. Look how low it's getting.
Yes.
There we go. Yeah, it's got good throttle response. Yeah, she runs really good. All right, I'm coming back. Hold on. I'll catch up with you fellas. Give me a second. Let me find out where I am. All right, I gotta catch up. No, I want to hit 10 Years Gone by Zeppelin. Yeah, Jimmy Page at his best, I know. I remember watching the song Remain the Same from when they were playing it over here at Madison Square Garden. I think that was their best performance. Let's see, Kent says, yeah, well, it's like a Harley seat bracket. It's like their knockoff variant it's clamped on with hose clamps. So I got to think about how I want to deal with that. That's how it was put on there. Yeah, but I like the backrest, though. It is nice. Looks like a Robin engine. That's what Brett says. Ken says, he goes, I would arch, but mine is a homemade POS. Well, yeah, but don't throw it out. And just you can un-POS it. You can, which is a good candidate for doing like a chopper or something to it, you know? Because the exhaust expands more due to more heat. I know, I was thinking that. I'm like, but why wouldn't you just, I guess that, I don't know, sometimes I think like an engine builder, right? It's like today, as you guys were talking about engines and stuff. And Klaus is like, I'm like, some oils, some additives are lubricants. No, they're not. I'm like, okay, what the fuck is, I didn't say anything, but like, what is ZDDP and what is Molly? It's a lubricant, right? It's a very high pressure lubricant. And often they're used either standalone or as additive. Same thing with zinc. Those are actual lubricants. I built many a flat tappet cam, and I actually killed a cam once, and it was a used cam, and it shouldn't have died. But I had good luck over the years with swapping cams out and building all these crazy motors, and they were a lot of money. And it wasn't just my engines as well, it was other people's engines. But I was like, yeah, sorry, bro. Sorry to tell you, but yeah, there's, some of the additive packages that they put in are iffy. But I was actually trying to agree with him, and he still wouldn't hear it. He said something, and then he went back on, and I'm like, what are you doing? Are you hitting the sauce a little bit? Sometimes people frustrate me. He doesn't like me, that guy. He does not like me. That's okay. I don't care. I really don't give a shit. If he expands more, because normally, I was thinking, you could make it smaller, but it moves a lot. And I'm like, that's just too much in my book. And I show it in the video. When I do the video, I'll show it closer. I didn't show it tonight, but you look at the intake valve and you move it back and forth, and it's just got that nice little bit. But the exhaust moves a lot. And I'm like, it's going to have to get pretty damn hot. You could knurl the guide if you have a knurling tool that will fit down there. That might help it. You could replace it. I don't think you're going to get a valve with a bigger stem in that size. And I dug out a much older engine. I think it was a Points engine, same size engine that I took off of my, what was it? It was one of my snowblowers, one of the old snowblowers I had. What the hell was that? The Arians. Yeah, this little Arians. And the motor was dead because it had a major score. It had no compression. The exhaust valve on those is almost the same damn size as the intake valve. Much, much bigger than on these newer Tecumseh motors. But you can see the thing runs really sweet. So nothing I can do about it. Let's see. Hopefully, by the grace of God, I will have a shop where I can work on stuff, even if it's 3 a.m. when I can't sleep. Well, you have a place. You just need more light and make it a little warmer and put a big heater in there. I worked for years outside. I built a bunch of my cars out there too. I had a little tiny shed. I had a crawl space at my house that you could stand between the beams. And that's probably why I'm so weird, because I probably hit my head so many times. My brain is scarred on the inside from slamming into everything. But you learn how to navigate that. I kept a lot of stuff in there, and I actually had like a workbench and everything down there. And if it was really cold out, that's where I did stuff. I would sometimes just sit down at this bench that I made and work on stuff. I did some headboarding there. I did some gasket matching to intake manifold, stuff like that, sub-assemblies. Yeah, your car bench. Yeah, Brett says he wants to show off his car bench. Yeah, we'll take a peek at that in a bit. Definitely. But yeah, that thing runs smooth, so it's going to be a nice machine for him. You know, he'll have fun. That's Mike's mini bike. It's not mine. Let's see, is there anything else on there? I don't think so. By the way, I want to show you guys something. This has been sitting around forever. Let's break to the right monitor. I have to get this thing working. It needs a fuel pump. In fact, actually right here. This fuel pump right here works in reverse. It's down here. All right, so there's the water pump, but right down there, if you can see my cursor, that's the biggest problem with it. And last I looked, I was able to get it for about 120 something bucks, but it's probably closer to 200 now. I have it packed away. This is when, like a couple of years ago, I dug it out, cleaned it off, and moved it into the shed. And it's just sitting. It's just waiting for me to get a chance to fix it. The motor's a Honda. It doesn't run right, but it will run. I did check the compression. Oh, yeah. Robert says, yeah, he's living in a rental. Yeah, it's tough to do in a rental. You have to be discreet. So it's got a nice big, Honda, but nothing was taken care of. And so I bought a hose, which I'm using, because this hose is shot. It's like welded on. The hose, it's been on there for so long that it's like welded on. I tried moving some of the fittings. I'm like, oh my God, I got to bring this thing in the shop to work on it. It's bad. But I cleaned it up. Looks a little bit better. There's the pump down there. But what's weird is, I don't know why, but it turns backwards. Yeah, she's much nicer looking now. Yeah, that's going to be fun. All right, that was it. That's what I wanted to show you guys. Hold on. I think, yeah, here we go. Look how nice that came.
See? Hold on, let me move. Let it focus a little bit. That seat's beautiful.
They cleaned up.
That seat's a little gross. Yeah, she could use some help. Over here, it doesn't look too bad, see? All right, let's get started.
There we go. How nice they came.
Nice.
That's just grease. It's just dirt from me touching it.
The seats are good. I can see like one little piece of stain.
No, it's not. When I wipe it with my finger, it disappears. Yeah,
No,
see, it's gone.
Just junk. No, it's just a little junk on
Before
there.
I cleaned it.
Perfect.
There we go. Now, that's the crosshatch I put in, and I just wanted to
See the
mention that.
cross? Like at least 60 degrees. You don't want a ridge. You don't want to cause like a line all the way around. symmetrical line, because then the oil won't be able to pull up and then pull down again. You'll get no oil control. It'll also have issues with compression. Look at that, fellas. I mean, it's not perfect, but it doesn't need to be. And everything is looking real good. That's how quick it is. I mean, it'd be nice to take the piston out and everything, but we don't need to. We're just doing the freshening.
Yeah. Wet spot. And coming back. So when I do something like that, well, I used a brake hone, but it's very quick because you don't want to remove any material. And of course, you can't get all the way down in there because your piston's down there. But at least in the general travel where the ring is going to ride, right, what it'll do is it'll maybe polish the ring face a little bit, and any issues that might have been there from the engine sitting or whatever, you just don't want to remove any material. All you want to do is break the glaze, if there's any glaze in there, and just put a crosshatch in and get out, and you're done. And you just don't, like, no time. And it's very slow. I turn the stones very slow, but I move up and down, quick, like this. And just to get that crosshatch, and then I'm done. And just a few passes of it really is all that's needed. And it does. It can wake up the rings if they can be woken up. And this, like I said, this motor ran pretty good, but it had a bit of a weird miss, and it wasn't making RPM quite right. I didn't really see any reversion or anything. I saw that in some of the other engines, and so I said, well, I'll put those aside. But this was the better candidate, and it did. It runs great. It came out great. I can't wait to fool around with this thing and get on this mini bike and ride it around. But as a cautionary statement, and I'll do that from time to time if I pop the motor apart. And getting rid of a little bit of the glaze is a good thing, because the glaze is think of it as like a almost like a polyester coating, because most plastics, I mean, they're made from oil and heat, and it's this weird friction in oil and heating that creates this weird, it's almost like a plastic coating that forms on the inside of these cylinders. And I've been pretty good success. What I've noticed is that if the rings are bad, you're going to know right away as soon as you do this. Even if you spend no time at all, you'll know right away. That's it. You have to take the motor apart if the motor's worth taking apart. If it is. See, Robert says that's a big pressure washer. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Some agrees. Mela says, what are your thoughts on chrome plated piston rings? Those are nice. Chrome. Conventionally, chrome was considered to be an option for dirty, dusty, sandy type environments. I'm not sure how they came to that conclusion that would be a better approach, almost like an upgrade over a cast ring. So for these kinds of things, or your dirt bike or something like that. That was the thinking originally. I don't know what they think now in that regard, because obviously you, with these motors, you know how people let them get. They'll ruin it. They'll destroy it. They'll never change their air cleaner. They don't clean anything. So maybe for these environments, that is actually a good alternative, and it will hopefully not wear out the cylinder. But I don't know. What I don't know is the interaction between a chrome ring versus an aluminum cylinder like this. Cast is probably just your best all-around choice because it's aluminum, right? Your cylinder's aluminum. If you have a steel insert like that green snowblower that I just finished up on, that thing came out nice too. I'll show you that real quick. That's different, right? You have options. Yeah, I just finished this one. There we go. This thing's beautiful. I was fooling around with this.
That's a little bit long, but that's okay.
Yeah, that came out cool.
So this is installed. We're lubricated.
A lot of work on this thing.
All right, just got.
I just uploaded the first video. I haven't published it yet. There we go. Yeah, that's got a cast iron insert. I like these. These are really nice. I'm going to try to keep this one. It claims to be like a 10 or 11 horsepower. I think it's the 11. Yeah, Brett says, let's see. Yeah, I'll get to it in a minute. Do I run it here? Yeah, here we go. This was in the other video that I did the other day. Oh, good. Yeah, I'm good. I'm coming back. Let's see, Bravo says, I remember back in my racing days, mid-70s, 80s, we tried chrome-plated rings. We never could get to seat well, so we abandoned the idea. Yeah, I could see how that would be the thing. Brett says they were used in engines with cast iron sleeves. Yeah, that would make sense, because chrome is hard. That would be too much for like an aluminum cylinder. No, it says I had a Kubota 38-inch cut hydro drive, 1400 mower with the chrome-plated piston rings. The engine back in the day. It was my first hydro drive mower. Got it from Sears catalog. Nice. That might make sense. No, this is, you stole my GT tractor tires. Yeah, these are the original tires. All that's like original on there. I just replaced the two belts and the rubber wheel, the friction wheel. And that's all I did to that. Well, let me show you these. Hold on. Let me go get them. Oh, I'm going to put a P-brake on. I'll be right there. I want to show you, I painted the fenders for the mini bike. I did a little detail to them and they came out nice. I just want to add a few touches to it, you know, just to kind of set it up. And I thought, well, there's stickers all over this stupid thing. And I'm like, look at all these ugly stickers. And they all say the same damn thing. Don't bring it back to us. We don't want it. Call this number. Be careful. Don't do it. Don't drive on a 45-degree incline. Oh, there's bleach. All right, I'm going to P-brake the lady. Hold on. She's got to go. I'm coming. Hold on. I gotta get the pea lady gone. Let me get these things. The pea lady's not done yet. Get the pea lady off. There we go. Look at these things. I'll try them on the other camera too. Make it comfortable. It's cold out there. I just had to go in the house and it is cold. What does it say? What's it say? 28 degrees. Yeah, 28. That's what the temp indicator says. Yeah, these things came out nice. No, is this camera? Let's see. That's one. Because I'm waiting for the throttle cable. And so I picked up like a cheap throttle cable handle, whatever. I really just need the cable. It's like $10, $11, $12. And I'm like, all right, I need some chain too. I have some chain, but I need more chain. And just to add a little touch to it. And then I needed the ink, and I needed a few other things. I'm like, you know what? I'll sit down. Last night I stayed up late. I'm like, I'll just do an Amazon order. My daughter's like, I have some coupons. I'm hold on to them, because if this ink doesn't work out, I'm screwed. I'm going to have to buy the real ink, and I'll need her coupon then. But, yeah, they came out real nice. Just to add a little bit of a touch, you know, that's kind of how I like to do stuff, is I'm looking around, there's some issues. I'll probably clear coat the whole machine. There's some paint missing in a few places, nothing really major. One of these was kind of bent, so I fixed that. And there was stickers all over everything, and the stickers on the machine. So I'm like, let's just get rid of all these stickers. Okay, well, I'll mount that sissy bar properly. You know? What's that? Like a little bit of paint missing in a few spots. We'll clear it. Get rid of that nonsense and straighten out everything. And once it's going, because I'm like, well, I'm going to be waiting for this stuff. So what else can I do? I'm also fooling around with the throttle bracket. And then I got, you know, I was helping my daughter out because she's painting her room upstairs. And so I just got all these different things going on. I'm like, well, this will kill time like this. Yeah, she pees in an echo chamber. Yeah. Let's see. My GT tractor tires. Yeah. Yeah, Bleach, what's up, Bleach? Says, my God, does he ever stop peeing? Or it's a new she-he, right? Be careful, right? You know, these days, you got to check, all right? If you want to date today, you have to check, okay? You have to have the ladies, if they're ladies, you got to do a spot check. You got to make sure, because you don't want to be in the dark and everything. You're getting all hot and nice, you know, because remember, fellas, there are no... There's no such thing as chicks with dicks, okay? There's only guys with boobs. So, Robert RM, because my other friend is RW, that mower cost me $200 or more for 1 year till I got it paid off in October '91. Wow, that's cheap. You know, by today's standards. If she pees in an echo chamber, I added that. Because it's cool, right? Because it's annoying and cool. Bravo says, freaking cold here today, too. 50s, for God's sakes. 50s. He's out there in his garages. Yeah. Yep. Oh, nice. Nice looking fenders. Thanks, Rob. Which is nice paint. Brett says, okay, back to, it's Lola. Yeah, it's Lola. Yeah, blood knows. How do you spot check? You're gonna have to go down there. So I mentioned something. What I want to put together is like a 20-minute segment, right? Because I haven't really had any segments recently. You know, like segments where I like to throw stuff in, politics, weird stuff about electronics, or stuff about weird stuff going on in the clown world. And we were talking about, well, we were talking about a couple of things like audio and stuff. And so I started collecting shorts and info and clips because I definitely want to kind of, like we talked a little bit tonight about like audio and stuff, which is kind of cool. And of course, guitars. So I wanted to show you guys what I was doing to the damn guitar amp, but I haven't had time to really do that because I do want to add in a little fooling around. And you know how I like to make bumpers and stuff. I figured, well, why don't you play your guitar? You do like a 30-second bumper, and it's just a spot of you playing, or it could just be something playing and you're playing in the background, because I don't ever have to worry about basically any copyright or anything if I'm making up a song. And of course, we got to do Summer Breeze. And I'm like, well, all of these are great ideas. So I'm like lining up things to do, but I have not had the time to make them into something. I've been focusing on a few other things. That's why I skipped out last week. And the week before that, we had like a 5-hour live, which was a lot of fun. I actually enjoyed that. And as I was saying earlier, I want to find a way to take like a StreamYard, or there's other programs out there, because it would be nice to bring an element like that where I can bring up a couple of people for a segment. Like what Ken is doing, where segment one is 2-hour show. First hour is we're down to business, right? We're trying to help people. You know, they can write in, ask in, they can do it before or while you're live, ask all these questions. We'll just talk about, you know, nothing but small engines. Because I heard him mention a while back, like he said, there's no really good podcast out there, quote, podcast, for small engines. There's plenty of us doing videos on this stuff, but there's no, per se, good podcast. Podcasts used to be just audio back like before we had video, but also like Howard Stern and people like that. How they got really super popular was catering to the drive time. And this one show that I watch, new show, I've had it on here before, right? They tried doing a, quote, podcast variation, and they had a problem with it. The way they do their news, some of the stuff, the people that they interview are out there in the field checking what's going on with like the Ukraine war and everything. They're speaking in a different language. And what they were trying to do was just like go over it and say what was being said, because there are people that are watching on their phone or whatever. It's on the dash of their car. They can't follow all the text. So modern podcast is a weird thing. It doesn't seem like, to me, it's clearly defined, because back in the day, it was a format. It went a certain way. There were different ways of doing podcasts. Some of the people did radio shows at night. Some of my favorites were some of these conspiracy people talking about aliens and everything. Not that I believe any of it, but, it's fun. So I'm like, well, how do I wrap all that in? And I do like a bit of the StreamYard. We had fun doing it, and Brett hung out to like all hours. RM fell asleep with the camera staring at the ceiling, right? That was awesome. Eventually, I just kicked him off because we were like, I think he's been asleep for like the past hour or something, right? That was fun. So eventually, we just threw him off. And I want to be able to bring in different elements of things, and that's kind of what all this gear can do, but it can't do that yet. And I like technology. Like, I like all of that stuff, all of it. And I'm used to it. It's money. It's money. And even after the money, even if you set, you plop it down on your desk or on a stand or whatever, you got to connect it. You got to have the right wires. Then you got to figure out how it works. How are you going to use it? I mean, you guys have been here with me almost from the beginning, most of you, and I suck at a lot of. We had the echo going on. When I first started, nobody couldn't hear anything. It was all weird. The camera was glitching. I often say, when you go to do a video, whatever it is you're doing, just try to be good enough. You'll get better at it if you keep pushing forward, but that's going to take time, because how the hell do you know what the hell you're doing when you first start doing it? I'm not born with the knowledge, right? So take your time. And I think like the first 2 years of like doing YouTube, I was able to pay off the cameras. And I think this year, this box thing here will be paid off. It's only a few $100s, but you know, you put it on the card and then you start paying on it and you got a little bit of interest and then something else comes up and you drop it on the card and you watch it go up and you're like, holy crap, if I make a decent, you know, $1 this month or whatever, I'm going to knock it down, and you knock it down. So I think it's pretty much paid off. My customer wants me to buy a big Cowie motor, and I think I'm going to tell him, no, you got to buy it, because even if he gives me all the money, then I'm going to have to pay down my card that I use for buying all this stuff, which is just more like the sort of like quote business YouTube card. And then you're going to have to wait for that to happen. And because there's a bit of a balance on it. So I'm trying not to buy too much and work with what I have and get better at it. Like, what's the point of buying more stuff if you feel like you're not even using what you already have to the best of your ability? And now I found on DaVinci, my editor, they moved over the stabilization feature into the editor in a better location and made it more user-friendly. And I started like tweaking some of my handheld footage, and it's getting straighter, and like I'm learning how to use that better. And I want to buy that. It's like $300. I want to own that this year. So before I get all these other toys, more stuff to plug in and wire and connect, and where am I going to get power from? I'm like, let me do the stuff that I need to do first. You know, let's see. Let's see. Bleach is what is he saying? Wait, let me back up. Wait, what the hell? Where is Lola? How do I spot check? A pat down. Is she wearing a wire? This is Deja Will Robinson. That's funny. Christina Reese says, go ahead, tell them about my lovely roommate. All right, I'll tell them. But I don't want to get too into it, but just to cover over something. Oh, let me read down. Popcorners, say their name, yeah. Do the Crocodile Dundee check to see if there's Mr. Johnson down there. Oh, man, that is funny. I'm floating. It's cold. Oops, sorry. I thought that said room. My apologies. People are feeding me. I got a long way to go, Arch, for that. Yeah. Oh, that level. Yes, I did fall asleep on your live. Yeah, that was fun, though. Like, that's cool. Christina should have seen that episode or hear my Popeye impression. Yeah, that was funny. Yep. Uncle Mark's doing hey, everyone. Uncle Mark's here. What's up, Mark? Give the bare minimum on my videos. Hands on reality entertainment. That's the thing is there is no rule book per se, really. Like, you know, like one of the things they say if you're starting out on YouTube, copy, because that's what we do in school. Go find somebody, steal with your eyes, steal with your mind, copy them. Even if you just turn the camera on and pretend to be them, you know, don't publish it, but just, you know, I looked at like Mixed Mowers. I liked the way he did his like intros and certain approach. I'm like, well, can I do something like that? And I tried it. I'm like, oh, there's a little something in there I can do from time to time. And I watched a few other people, and I'm like, well, can I emulate that? Right? How would that look if I did it that way? And it's just practice. But then when you go to do it for real and you like go to publish it, well, at the end of the day, you just got to be you, and you got to decide what it is you want to do. And I think for me, I want a niche, but what is that niche? And you don't know until you just start doing it, and you keep the show simple at first, even if you want to be more complicated later on. Well, you can't start off complicated. That's crazy unless you're trained in this shit. Unless you're coming out, which that happened, actually. A lot of our YouTube environment changed abruptly, I think, by and large, because of the lockdowns. Not only did everybody and their mother's brother want to start doing it because they had nothing else to do, but if you think about it, right, a lot of the industry, the film industry, the entertainment industry, all of those, like, and all the subdivisions, a lot of the young upstart people that were camera grip people, working, shooting films, doing documentaries, they were like told to go home. We don't need you. And if you weren't on like a big multi-million-dollar, you know, production team doing something for some really huge Hollywood movie, even a lot of those were shut down. They were like, well, what do I do now? I have all this experience. I have a lot of the equipment. YouTube. Well, as a result of that, that leveled up YouTube a lot because these people had all of this experience. I mean, they got a lot of the equipment. They know what the hell they're doing. And that kind of made the rest of us sort of like, it notched us down, I think, a little bit, in my view, in my view. And they're not necessarily working in the field that we like, but they're in other fields. And overall, I mean, I watch some of these things. I watch some of these camera guys. I watch, I see what's going on. So let me get to the story. Let's see. Brett says, don't copy me. They will send you to the funny farm real quick. Oh, that's great. There's a funny channel on YouTube called Jenny's Garage. He works on vintage motorbikes. Nice. Lawnmower corn. Yeah, nice. Yeah, and if you got to be comfortable with the way you're doing it, but there is kind of like some guidelines and guardrails and rules, and like even Ken, he's been doing this for quite a number of years, and he's been doing his live, and I think he may be the only live show out there that is closer to being, a small engine podcast. And however that's defined, he might be the best one doing it currently. So, and he's tweaking it. So that's what you do, and I'd like to add a little elements here and there and spat them around. And I love the technology, and it's great. It's a little expensive. It's a bit nitpicky, but I do enjoy it. It's very much like the guitar stuff and the music stuff and the sound equipment stuff. It's fun. Comes in black, which is like one of my favorite colors, for like gear, It's a lawnmower corn. And this week on lawn equipment hoarding, that's me, right? Yeah, because when you look at Mikey was back there recently. He's looking at, he's like, you're getting a little thin. I'm like, I know. That's in this section, in the garden section. And I'm like, look around back there. That's the YouTube section back there. That's packed. I'm going to have to go through it again. Blood Nose says, doing Bill's date 2024. Yeah, yep. And it's getting harder. Everything's getting like weird. Like when I was talking to Brett, and we're like, and with everything going up and a lot of the technology is getting a little cheaper, everything else is getting ridiculously expensive. And interestingly enough, because he bought one of those 3/4, whatever it was, buzz banger cleaners, right? And the prices have dropped considerably on those, right? So for like a 10-quart, cleaner or something like that, they're $1 and change, Yeah, he sings. Brett says, I see a tractor and I want it painted black. That's a great song. It's a weird song, but it's a great song. So Tina, so my daughter, right? So I've been collecting all of this stuff on Satanism, right? And I wanted to make like a couple of different videos, 15-minute spots for segments, whatever, have some fun with them, and to show how it's like everywhere, like it's in everything, and it's coming at us from all, and we don't even see a lot of it because the iconography and the stuff that the symbology and everything and the way that they've been bringing it in, even into like Super Bowl. I noticed they calmed down a little bit on the Super Bowl, but it's still there. Okay, it's still there. I see it. And when you start to study it, you start to see their language, and it's in everything. So I started collecting a lot of this information. I'm like, well, how do you put this together? Like, how do you put it into a segment? Because I just want something fun and poke around and have some fun with it and point it out. And it's actually serious. So her friend is a Satanist. And I said to her, I was like, your friend's a Satanist. And she's not a very good one either. Because a really good Satanist knows the Bible in and out. You have to, because in their view, and we're talking, like Satanists, quote unquote, Luciferians, and then you can get into the other occulted stuff. And I say occulted meaning hidden. So there's a lot of clubs, there's a lot of groups out there that have variations of this, including some of the stuff that goes way back many thousands of years, which is what's today is more like Wiccan, and that's probably a few thousand years old. That's the biggest up and coming religion in the United States, which is Wiccan. You go back into, you can even say the Masons are into it to some degree. They may have even been infiltrated by it. It looks like many of the groups that have started trying to do one thing have become something else. Yes, I could point to that. You can go back to ancient Saturnalia. This is the stuff that the Egyptians were in. This is the stuff that many of the Israelites were into. Every time they wandered off, right, and got away from their God, they got punished because they were busy doing idolatry and everything else, and they got in trouble, and that's why they wound up in a fucking desert for 40 years. So this stuff has been around forever, and the ancient peoples knew it intimately. The pagans knew it quite well. Emperor Constantine knew all about it, and he shoved it into Christianity. So this stuff is all around, but a lot of these people that are doing this today don't know any of that, and they also don't know the Bible. And I find it very interesting and ironic, because if God and Jesus is your enemy, right, and you know nothing of that, then what the hell are you doing? So anyway, this young lady, she decided that she didn't want to live there anymore, so she just broke the contract and left, right? So this is another irresponsible. But when you think about it, like, one of the mantras that Satanists have, which comes from Aleister Crowley, is do what thy wilt is the whole of the law. So you can just do whatever the hell you want. And F everybody, right? Just do whatever you want. Don't worry about legalities or other people or somebody's feelings. So, and it's funny because Aleister Crowley was considered to be the most evil man on the planet. And Mussolini didn't want to mess with this guy. Mussolini threw this guy out of his country. So this is what you're dealing with. He's on album covers, rock and rollers sing about him. They seem to have this affection for this piece of crap. So she's getting into that, and my daughter tells me the story that she meets this guy. He's an airline pilot. She barely knows him, maybe a month or something like that. And she tells me that, well, she sent away for this kit where you get these little ampules, right, like this, and you take a syringe and you poke it in, you draw the blood out, you each fill an ampule of blood, close it up, and you give it to the other person, and you wear that around your neck. So you're wearing somebody's blood around your neck that you really don't even know. She just made a blood pact with another person that she doesn't know. And I had said to my daughter, I said, she's really bright. She's very, very intelligent, but she has absolutely no wisdom whatsoever. I'm thinking, oh my God, you really need... I said, I hope you didn't accidentally leave any like lock of hair or toenail clippings or anything, because these people will use this stuff. They think it's like a game. They'll put a curse on you. I think her and my ex-wife went over there and saged the building, right? Just stay away. But I wanted to kind of like pull some of this stuff into like a 15-minute video, because it's really sad and it's really sick and it's like all over the place. And when I would tell people about this years ago, they would be like, you're a conspiracy theorist, you're this. And it's so weird, because I would even say this to like Christians who read they should be reading in their Bible about this stuff. But yet, if you show it to them in the real life, it doesn't exist. I'm like, well, then why are you reading about it? I mean, why are you so concerned about the end of the world and the Antichrist and you going to heaven and all this other stuff? Yet I can show you in the actual world where all of it is literally going to hell. But if I connect it to the devil, you're like, no, that's not what it is. Okay. So I figured I'd have some fun with it. What do I do with my glasses? On my other pair here. I put these on. These glasses are hurting. Actually, I got to clean these. Yeah, they're clean enough. So, I thought it would be kind of neat. Let me see what you guys are saying. Rolling Stones, baby. Hail, lizard people. That's a different thing. Let's see. David Francis. There's my brother, David. Hey, David. He says, Satan is a loser. Yeah. Bleach says, I sure make a tower of garage. The Super Bowl Swift Bowl. Yeah, that was the whole thing. Yeah, she is a Satanist. Absolutely. And you could see her change. They have to do this. It's like if you really want to be high up on that hog, that's the club that they put you in. You have to do it. Katy Perry talks about it. She's like, yeah, I wanted to be a gospel singer, and it wasn't really working out. And, and then so I sold my soul to the devil. Oh, great. Yeah. How's that working out for you, Katie? They all talk about it now. Now they don't even hide it. Robert says, God, please deliver Christina from the evil that she is living in. Yeah, absolutely, bro. Bloodnose says, you need to know your enemy. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. That's why I've been studying it a little bit more, because it's everywhere, and it's like it slips in a little bit at a time, It's not worth it. Like, there's no amount of money you can give me. Uncle Mark says, you need to know something. Yeah. Bleach says, Doja Cat song, Paint the Town Red song is a bit different. Yeah, you think? Snapple Lawnmowers cursed me. Yeah. And she's a Biden person. Yeah, of course. Well, they're all into that. Read about Tyres Towers. What's Tyres Towers? Oh, Taylor it is. Yeah, a lot of them are into it. It's weird because not all liberals are Satanists, of course. And not all liberals are leftist communists. But they've been infiltrated by that, and there's something to that. You can also happen even on the far right, because I can show you instances of some of these evangelist preachers out there that speak in tongues, and it's another thing that the Bible warns of. And they're wait till you see some of the footage I have. Oh my. And they're not doing the right thing either, and they're leading people astray. And they do it with their hand on the Bible, and they're cursing it. So it can go, you can't point to one. It's coming at us from every direction. And I think just regular normal people just want to be regular normal people. We're really not interested. I get it. Why would you, who the hell wants to think like a crazy person or a really sick, sinful person? Most of us just don't even think about this stuff. And I get it. I understand. Like, same thing with politics. I mean, most of us are not, who really wants to care? Honestly, you just want to live your life. But I think we're beyond that. It seems like we've crossed like this point in time to where at this point, we all have to kind of get on board with what's actually really happening in the world, because it's going to mow us down. It's going to mow you down, or it'll mow your children down, or your friends, or your parents, or your grandchildren, or your loved ones. And they'll get caught up in this. And this nice young girl, she's not a terrible person, but if she keeps going down that road, she's got a little area where all her little trinkets and doodads and stuff live. And I said to Christina, I said, that it's in the apartment is a bad thing. These things are talismans, and they can pull, let's see, what is this? Quasi Junior, why Alex Rosie doesn't go home for the holiday? I don't know what the hell that is. They can pull in negative energy, and a lot of that negative energy obviously affects the people around them. And I think it's just a little bit more than just being an immature person that happens to be young and happens to be immature, or just doesn't have there's something else there. She doesn't seem to care. She did something to my daughter that was it wasn't horrible, but it ended the friendship. And she made no real effort to fix it. And that tells you the character of the person. There was nothing that my daughter did that really justified that behavior. And I want to get into it, but it was inappropriate behavior. And I think it's what you're going to see from these people. They don't care about anybody but themselves. They won't look out for you. They're not going to be your friend. And I would just stay the heck away from them for the most part. Identify who they are. If they're going down the wrong road and you can point it out and they want help to get back on the other side, yeah, you should try to see what you could do about that. That would be, if you're a Christian, that would be a Christian thing to do. But be careful, because you're playing with fire, because you don't know if they're just being deceitful. So putting, as the Bible says, the full armor of God, right? Well, there's a lot involved in that. And if you don't know how to do that until you can learn and get to that point, then stay the hell away. Let's see. Taylor it is. Yeah. Robin says, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. Yeah. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Right. I like that stuff. That's good. That's good stuff. Yeah. Let me make him an offer that can refuse. Oh, Michael. I go, there just wasn't enough time, I go. Wasn't enough time. Senator Corleone. President Corleone. I'm sorry, Michael. Oh, Joel Osteen creeps me out. Yeah, and he's not even that bad. But there's something going on there. Those are the prosperity preachers. Keep your friends closer. Don, did you receive? Yes, I did, David. Thank you very much. Yeah, actually, I got to go through it. I pulled out a couple of things. I tried that one shake, which was kind of neat, but I got to check to see how it's sweetened because it does taste kind of sweet. So I'm going to do it during the day, and I can check my blood and everything. And I want to try out. You set me up with a nice, like a thermal, and I'm going to do my laundry this week, so I'm going to start putting some of that stuff on. But thanks, though. Bleach says, you missed my comment. Dry rotted Craftsman and snapper tires everywhere. They hold air. I'm sure I will use them. Yeah, if they hold air. Build a tower of dry rotted tires. Stack them on the lawnmower engines in the garage. Organizing tips from Bleach. Nice. That's what I got to do, actually. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I have all of that stuff out in the back. There's tires on rims, tires and rims and tires and rims and tractors that need to come apart and parted out, and I got to start doing that. That's definitely like a spring summer thing. That's what was nice about the mini bike. And last season at the end of the year when I went through all those motors, now I know which motors are parts motors. I wound up with a motor that I used to replace that old Arians that I was working on, which I didn't finish it this year. I got a motor for this mini bike. I got the other parts motors, and there's another motor over there that I think that we could rebuild for another project, but it's going to need to come apart. I would replace the rings and hone it out. And so it's nice. Some of these projects are nice because it gives me an opportunity to go through what I have. And then now I know, like, what's there. This one's it's a parts engine. I got a couple of them. I got a couple of 8 horsepowers that are good engines. I got a couple that are parts engines. I already started pulling some parts out of them to fix other things. And that's what I got to do with the tractors and the tires. Because you collect this stuff and that's what I was telling Bleach. I'm like, you wind up with all this stuff. Some of it's garbage. Like, throw it out. It's just in your way. You can't clean up your shop. You can't clean your yard properly. You don't know where you have stuff. It winds up everywhere. And a lot of it is just garbage. Yeah, the tower of dry rotted. Just throw them out. Some of the rims I want to keep, and if they have dry rotted tires on them, I'm going to rip the tires off and I'll put them in my junk pile. I try to lead folks to Jesus, but you can't force it. That wouldn't work, and that's why we have free will. Ever notice Kamala Harris sort of sounds like Sister Mary Elephant? I don't know who Sister Mary Elephant is. I know the name, but they're all wicked people. They're all... it's so bizarre. The lying is the worst thing. Like, people have asked me, like, what is, like, the most wicked thing? And I say deceit, because with deceit, you can control the whole world, which is what's been happening. It's not murder. Like, you could murder a billion people, but that won't make you control the whole world. That won't allow for people to be living in their lives and propagating and moving forward in lies. It's really deceit. That's the sin of sins. Lying. It's horrible. And that's our government. From Church and Jong. A big plastic tub of carburetors, too. Yeah, are there any of the carburetors any good? Can they be fixed? Because there's some parts... I have a couple of boxes of carburetors, and I periodically... What I started doing with some of that stuff was... When I first started collecting it, I said, well, we'll just collect all of it. And then I would go through it, and I was like, okay, this is really bad. Let me throw this out. Then I got more in, and I was like, okay, let me go through this and see what's the best currently. And if there's a lot of duplicates, keep the best currently. And anything that's a little bit on the questionable end, like if I have 5, do I really need 5? If that one's questionable, now I got 4, throw that out. I got 3 of this one. These 2 are better, throw that out. And I just kept doing that. And I wound up with these boxes of like carburetors and coils and stuff that were, then I started measuring the coils and I would write it on and I'm like, yeah, this is a good coil. That one's no good. Throw that out. I just kept doing that. And now I have like some decent stuff. And some of them are getting a little thin. Even the plastic carbs, right? I go through those too. And the gas tanks. Let's see. Robert says, I got 2 of the 4 belts for the YS and the ST mowers, trying to find a blade brake system on both of them. Yeah, that you can bond some of that blade brake stuff back onto the lever if it's in good shape. There is a glue for that. If you can get the brake material, which you can also use like big thick pieces of leather and stuff, but that's all that goes bad with those blade brakes. Is just the friction material. Yeah, they may believe their lies. Yeah, that's a human being. That's the problem with humans, is the way we learn, because we copy and then we want to be accepted. And what can happen is somewhere in there we get short circuited, and then you wind up believing something because you're around enough people that say so. And it can happen very quickly. It can happen in a lot of ways. And you start to use the language that they're using, and you fall into that. And then you get manipulated because of our psychology is vulnerable to that kind of manipulation. And then you start to believe it. And you think that way. Many of them may actually think that they're doing a good thing because they're talking about words like virtue. But they don't really understand virtue. But they want to be virtuous because they're not necessarily bad people. So when they're in a group, that's all they've ever known, and that group is starting to kind of go a little bit south, and they're coming up with words like equity and virtue. And you see, we think of words like that maybe differently, but they think about words like that differently. And I've had actually this explained to me, like their idea of racism is not our idea of racism. It's a very specific idea, and they have shared it, but we don't accept their definition. So we go to our definition. But that's not what they're talking about. I've noticed this too, with predominantly with in the past, I guess maybe 20 years, is the language has changed. People use words, they don't understand their meanings. Like I remember I think it was like last week, I think Brett was on Ken's, and he said, oh, I didn't hear, I'm an idiot. And they said, no, you're not an idiot, Brett. They said, you're ignorant. And I thought, no, he's not ignorant either. And then they all agreed that Brett was ignorant because he didn't know what was happening. He wasn't like actually right there. He said, I missed that part. Okay, all right, that's fine. You're not an idiot. You're just ignorant. Well, no, he's not ignorant. He's nescient. That's the correct word. Ignorant means, they were using ignorant as he didn't know. He wasn't there. So he doesn't have any foreknowledge of it. So you're just ignorant. No, that's nescient. Ignorant means the knowledge is there, but you refuse it. The knowledge is there, you don't want to learn it, you refuse to learn. That's being ignorant. That's the definition. Nescient is you're not there, you're not aware of it. You're not aware of the knowledge. If you don't know how to do something because you've never been exposed to it, you're not ignorant. You're nescient. But everybody agreed that it was ignorant. And this is how language gets poisoned from original meanings of something. And there is a whole group of people that think that we move forward in life by coming up with new ideas. And these new ideas are new ideas, but they don't necessarily work. And these are the people that change the language. So equity does not mean you get the same amount. It's equity of outcome. It's not equity of resources. It's if you can work harder than me, at the end, you share what you did with me. Even though I wasn't capable or didn't want to be bothered working as hard as you have to be in equity with me. It's equity of outcome. And you might be thinking, well, that's ridiculous. That's their definition of equity. Racism isn't I'm white, you're black, I'm black, you're white, we don't like each other. No, it's you're white, you're responsible for everything that's gone wrong in the world. And by the way, you own property, and your ownership of property is part of your problem. this is a type of communism and Marxism. You should not be owning property. You're the problem. We're going to remove your property from you, and therefore we're going to make you in equity with all the other people that don't have property. You're a racist. That's what they mean by it, okay? And other people thinking, but I'm not a racist. I have black friends. It has nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with that. They'll let you think that, because by letting you think that, you're arguing this argument and they're arguing this argument. And meanwhile, they're the ones that are in government and they're the ones that are changing the laws. And you're ignorant because not only are you nescient, but you're ignorant because you're refusing to understand what the hell they mean while they have the finger on the government button. Yeah. And they playing this game. It's a lawyer legal speak game. It's the same thing, right? You can argue a case with truths and you can argue a case with facts. And at the end, it doesn't matter if you're guilty. If I get you off and I get you to believe that, get the jury to believe that there is enough doubt that you may be innocent, you walk. It has nothing to do with whether it's true that you did something wrong or whether the facts show it. At some point, if I can manipulate the truth and the facts and present it in such a way and cause enough question, if you're the person that did something wrong, you get to go home. That's what it's about. And we're thinking too logical. This is not really logic. It's a kind of distorted logic. But that's what they do. And I have a friend of mine that's a retired lawyer, contract lawyer, biomed, and he also worked for the patent office. And most of us that have ever really worked for certain companies, whether you're in the biomedical field or you're an engineer or whatever, words have very specific meanings. And if you don't understand that meaning, you better learn it quick, because you can lose a lot of money. People can lose a lot of their lives. You can destroy expensive equipment. You have to know what you're talking about. You have to know what the definition of a word is, and that has to be in full agreement. And so I've been in those environments, and lawyers have to know what all the definitions are, and then they have to know how to bend them. And that's what these people are doing. They know what all of the definitions are. They tweak the definition a little bit, and they bend it, and that's how they manipulate. And I would speak to him about this for years. I'm like, if you've noticed that the definition of a lot of these words are changing. He goes, yeah, absolutely. And as long as I've known him now, we've been following this, and we would talk about this. I'm like, you notice this? Yeah, well, that's what the progressives do. Because the progressive mentality, the idea of being a progressive is change. Well, change is basically movement, and movement is moving, let's say, from point A to point B. When you get to point B, it might suck. You might like point A better. You could change something that's working fine, and for the sake of being a progressive, they will change it. And if it doesn't work, they don't go back to point A. They just simply say, well, change is good. Well, no, change isn't always good. First of all, why fix something that ain't broke? Why just move from point A to point B? That's what they do. They just constantly are moving. A progression. It's like a chord progression. Well, if you're going through a chord progression and you don't have the chord progression right, it sucks. The music sounds like shit. And that's what they've been doing with our lives. It's this constant movement without any regard to whether or not the movement is good, it's beneficial, and if it has repercussions, they don't fix it. They just keep moving. And nobody goes back and goes say, oh, we got to go back to A. That's what Trump tried to do. And that's why it's one of the reasons why they hated him, because they want this constant, ridiculous, silly movement with the camouflaging of words and terms. And this is the same thing with everything else that's going on. You know, we can't even tell if a woman is a woman anymore. They can't answer whether or not a woman is a woman and what is a woman or what is a man or what is a child. They can't answer this stuff in any real way because they don't want to, because it's progressive. It's this weird progressive thinking, and it's becoming not just a problem, but it's a disease. But that they're trying to make these diseases something that's normalized, and we're supposed to accept it. You know, there's a dysfunction, there's disease, and then there are things that are deviations, like serious deviations. Most human beings have something wrong with them, and that is a dysfunction. I now have a bad back. I have diabetes. My my pancreas is dysfunctional, okay? But it's not a deviation. Being a deviant, I mean, if you're going to cut all your crap off and then parade around and try to sell the world on the fact that you're something other than what you were born, that's not a dysfunction. That's a serious deviation. And that may be up here, or it may be in here, and it may even be the guy down there doing it. Which is, yeah, they believe that all these good carburetors. I don't think it was meant as a diss, though. No, it wasn't meant as a diss. That's my point I'm making. It's not a diss. It's a lack of understanding of a word. And everyone now uses that word ignorant. But no one has ever bothered to find out what the fucking definition is. And I think it's bizarre because people use these words and they share them with everybody else, but nobody bothers to open up a dictionary and go, well, how is that word actually used? And is that really the right word? My point is, just because everybody else in the room is doing it doesn't mean it's correct. It doesn't mean it's right. And I've stood in a weird place in life where I've been looking around going, well, that ain't right. What the hell are they talking about? And I always feel like I'm a little bit off because if I get too close into the room, everybody's joking around and laughing about something. And I'm like, I don't know what the hell they're talking about. Because what they're talking about isn't even accurate. Yet they've accepted that. And this is the erosion that starts the swirl in the funnel, which sucks you down and in. And you think, well, you're making a big deal of it. Not really, because look around you. All of these words that I just mentioned, it went from a misunderstanding to a deviation to something that is now absolutely bizarre, and it affects every one of our lives. And it's making everybody's lives miserable. I mean, California, some of these states are now considered to be these sanctuary cities. You know what that means? That means if your 12-year-old daughter suddenly decides that she wants to be a 12-year-old boy, and she goes to that sanctuary city, and if you go after her, the FBI will arrest you and throw you in jail. You have no choice but to allow that state, whatever sanctuary state, to cut and maim and poison and do whatever to your child. You can't stop it. So this deviation now is becoming a law, and I think that's disgusting. That's child abuse. It's sick, and it happens. And there are cases that are being tried. What good is it to try a case to be sucked up into something like that? You got the money for that? You got a life for that? And what happens to the child? It'll destroy a family. I mean, there's cases right now being prosecuted. This is what they're doing. And the average person just thinks, well, it's just a misunderstanding. Yeah, it's some misunderstanding. And it's coming to a city near you because you see the divide between red and blue and pink, and whatever other color they want to add to it. It's happening here. I mean, they want to give $10,000 credit cards to all the immigrants that are coming in. It's just going to bankrupt us. We're already in trouble from all of this. They don't know where to put them. They won't spend a dime on the average American, but they'll do this. The $75 billion again given over to Israel and Ukraine. You could feed everybody in this country that's homeless. You could end that right now. I mean, you could fix all of the bridges. You could fix so many things in this country. And because of this nonsense, it just disappears. And we're going to have to pay for it. And it's destroying our dollar, the value of our dollar. So these little misunderstandings suddenly grow and grow and grow and grow. I was watching something with Dr. Phil a bunch of years ago, arguing over this woman. She was a Christian, and she was saying she was taking everybody back through time to when the pagans met with the Christians, and they turned Christmas into something other than Christ and about Christ. It's a pagan holiday. And he kept saying things like, why can't we just all get along? And why does it have to be like that? And just because you think it's that way doesn't mean I think that way. And I'm thinking to myself, well, that's exactly what Satan would say. And that's exactly what I'm sure Constantine said. And what everybody else that was at that party back in the Council of Nicaea. I'm sure that's what they all fucking said. What's the big deal? So what? You're a Jew and you're a Christian. Let's just add a little bit of paganism in. Nobody's going to notice it. It's not a big deal. What's the difference? And thousands of years go by, and here we are. What's the difference if you cut your dick off? What's the big deal? Nobody's really going to care. It's your dick. And then you go try to date somebody and they look like a girl. They've had all of these treatments and everything else. And you're thinking, wow, that's nice. And then you reach down in there and you get, well, I don't even want to tell you what that is because you should go look it up. It's disgusting. And it smells and it's full of pus. Yeah, it's disgusting. It's more than a deviation. It's a sickness. And this is the life that we're going to have to share now. And these people don't even know what to do. So that's my conviction. Let's see, Robert says, there's a slice that speaks louder than words of promises broken. That is a great amount of words from the song Sorrow from Pink Floyd. Nice. And he promises Trump smash Haley in her own state. I know, isn't that crazy? And they'll make you think that this guy is like a nobody, like nobody wants him and nobody likes him. I'm not a big fan of him. But when you look at the amount of people on the planet here in this country that actually really want to vote for the left, it's like 20%. Now, you can fault them. Many of these people have been lied to. They don't really know even what I'm saying. They don't know. So they've been lied to, and they've been told that this guy is Orange Man bad, and they've been told about all of this stuff. I mean, look at the truckers. Right now, the truckers are not delivering into New York City. Not all of them, but a good percentage of them. If 10% of New York City, as it stands right now, loses some of that food and supplies, they're going to be hurting, which means everything's going to get more expensive, which means my life is going to be more miserable. And all I can say is I can't blame them. Okay, because they see what they just did to the guy here with this corruption in the government and in the legal system, and they're trying to do something. I mean, we're getting shoved into this position, and if we don't understand and learn about like what's happening, it's going to get worse and worse and worse. Robert says they can't find some reason to convict him on something or to break his financial resources. They will try to take him out. Yeah, that's the worry. You know, it is a painful image. If, by the way, that thing I described down there, and they have to spread it apart and dilate it, and it's painful. It tries to close up. It's a gash. It's a fucking wound. And that's what they're, and by the way, they'll never have an orgasm again. Ever. Ever. And they're doing this to teenagers and children. And this is acceptable. I mean, how can anybody else stand by and say that's okay to do our children and our grandchildren? If you're an adult and you want to do that to yourself, God help you. I wouldn't recommend it. There's plenty. Go talk to people that have had it done and let them show you. Because there's plenty of people out there that are trying to get airtime and they're being crushed. Right? They're being squelched. You can't hear from them. You can't hear from any of this stuff. Right now, there's a whole fluoride lawsuit going on, and I think it's in California. You'll never hear anything about it. Right? They're pushing the government to try to get them to get away from it because it's a poison. It's a neurological poison. It's in everything. It's in all the water. When you wash with it, when you drink with it, it doesn't do what they said it did. It never did. There's a whole story on that, and that's real. I mean. And they're trying, and they've been trying to sue, but they're actually suing the state, I believe, this time, for damages. This stuff, this is why I say we're in Revelations, not in the revelations that people necessarily think. This is the time of the revealing, where everything starts to come out. And the more it comes out, the more the powers around us try to squelch it. Right now in the UK, they just came out with, they passed a law, and I don't know the specifics of this, but if you're on a channel like mine and you start to say stuff like this or petition the government in any way, it's something like 10 years in jail and like a $10,000 fine. They're literally, okay, they're trying to do that in Canada, and they're trying to do it here. And it's not just standalone bills that they're doing it. They're putting it inside of all of these economic incentive bills and these green bills and in the health bills. They're trying to shove stuff like this to destroy freedom of speech in every little way that they can. If it doesn't pass here, maybe it'll pass there. Maybe we can get it to pass over there. Maybe we can get it to pass in the UK or in Australia or in Canada, or we'll get this over here. They're coming from every direction. And it's horrible. That means if you're just like a lawnmower show and you want to talk about it, like on Ken's Small Engine, and there's somebody there from the UK, they need to leave. Or they can get in trouble. Or they can lose their channel. Can't talk about it. Like Wayne likes to come up every now and then and go, hey, how about, can't do that. It's crazy. Very disconcerting by his own words. Yeah. Gonna take your advice on mounting my vise to the bench. Oh, yeah, let's go check that out. Yeah, let's go check that out. So what I was saying, Brett, was I'd have to show, if I do a shop tour, I'll show it. I put a 2x4 from the tabletop down to the floor because I had made the bench, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to reinforce this. So I put another one down, and then I made like, you can use a piece of plywood or whatever, but I made like another thing to kind of tie the 2x4 going down so that I can transfer forces downward. And then I wanted to make an area where, as I put those big lag bolts, with the big vise, that big vise that I have, that's bolted in. That's like through bolted. Okay, because the vise itself would fall off, right? That's how huge it is. But for my other vices, and even the one outside, that one's more of like a lighter duty vise. It's similar to yours, but that's a light duty table, just for being outside. Let's see. Let me go find Brett. I always have a hard time finding you. Just search it. Let's see. There we go. All right, let me put it up. Let me put it on the monitor. And this will encourage you fellas to get out there and fool around in your shop. Here it is. Let me set it up. Stand by.
Good afternoon, YouTube.
I should be able to hear it. Let me get my headphones on.
Shop Talk with Brett. A little bit of a quick update.
Nice
here.
and clean.
This is only going to be a short video, but I like the way I've done this here. The last shop video I did, remember I had things kind of a mess out
Hold
here.
on, I'm stuck.
I'm still in the process of doing it. I did get some of this cleared out here. Like I said, that stuff is going to go when the weather warms up. Hopefully I won't need the snowblower anymore this year because it's looking pretty nice for the next couple weeks. And I'll be able to get the grill out and stuff. And
sorry, making noise.
See, I moved my
stuck.
Time Master and everything. You'll notice that my cousin's big snowblower is gone.
Look at that lawnmower.
Well, I gave that back to her because we did have a bout with snow where she needed it. But the Time Master's taken its spot, but this spring I'll be getting it back. I'm going to store it again. But anyway, that's not the point of today's video.
Nice, clean set. See,
Decided
notice,
to redo my carburetor.
See, notice you've got one 2x4 going down, right? And the way it's mounted to the tabletop, it's not a strong junction. So what I was suggesting is you could add.
Decided to redo my.
Try to stop it. Get where I want it. So when you mount the vise on that, you can add another 2x4 in front of it, lag into the top of that, or even put another piece of plywood on top of that as well. Screw the two 2x4s together. There's a couple of things that you can do because you want to make that joint really strong. Because at some point you're going to want to pound on it and you're going to be pulling on it. It's a vise.
Decided to redo my carburetor bench. Since I got the new ultrasonic cleaner, I decided to clear this other bench off and have actual usable space other than just sitting at it cleaning carburetors and having not much space. We've got my chain grinder mounted here, which I showed you in the last video, and I got the shop lights on this time. We got a light for the chain grinder. That's nice. Stereo up there. I got a little fan. Come along here, all this nice open space now. Now that I got it cleared off. Outlets to use. And here's where I can clean carburetors now. You see I got my ultrasonic there. I got my little thing to dismantle the carburetors in. Plug for the ultrasonic right there. The bench grinder is right here. I could move it. I'm debating on here where to mount this vise. Whether I should put it here and put the grinder next to it, or put the grinder on the end and the vise next to it. I haven't decided yet.
No, you always want a vise on the corner.
Let me know your thoughts on that, because I'd like to be able to use that without obstructing it, and I wanted to mount the grinder. I can move. I'm not going to mount it, but where to mount that vise? Whether put the grinder on the end and the vise in, or have the vise on the end. Either way, the vise needs to be mounted. But that's kind
remember,
of the setup.
That vise turns, so you want to be able to, you want to be able to turn that vise. Where's the shot where you want to be able to turn it, and if you ever want to lever something, like you have to twist something or put a breaker bar or something on it. You want an extra 2x4 going down to the ground. You want it on the corner. You can adjust. You have a little bit of swing on that vise, and you want to have some room because you might be working with something that's a couple of feet wide or something, or a foot long or whatever. Something that you want to cut, threaded rod, all thread, bolt that's big, whatever it is, and you want some overhang. If you want to mount something into the vise and heat it, and it's going to hang over. Maybe you can hang over the floor. You can move away your flammable stuff there. And if you've got something that's hot, it's going to drip and hit the floor. It will cause a fire. Always on the corner. There's a lot you can do. You can aim it. You can aim the thing you're cutting on in different directions so you can stand properly and get at it. And you don't want that bench grinder in the way. You want a good couple of feet to the left. And, of course, you've got all this room to the right where you can stand or it can hang over.
But that's kind of the setup we have here. I've got new chemicals in the house. I'm going to probably be doing a review on it. I'm going to try the Simple Green Aircraft and Precision Cleaner, and I'll dilute it because I've heard that that's not corrosive to aluminum, but we'll find out. I've heard mixed things on it, but that's why I've got some dummy carbs to test it. But anyway, I got a nice place, and I could sit down here.
Yeah.
While I'm doing something on this bench, fixing mowers.
That's also, by the way,
I can have something behind.
A bench like this little island is a nice place for a vise as well. If you can beef this up too to put a vise. Having two vices, I have 4, and I got to move 2 of them because they're too close to other things because I move things around and it's a bit of a problem. This is another place that a vise or a bench grinder on the end, right there, on the end, bench or a grinder, excellent place. I'll see you later, Uncle Mark. He says, I got to go off to a late night shift. All right, be well. Let me finish this up and I'll come back.
Whatever. I can have something behind me now getting cleaned. And you saw this in the last video, the little Vivor ultrasonic. But I think that's a perfect spot for it right there.
Oh, yeah.
It's out of the way, and I can use it.
Can also be up on a shelf, too.
But, yeah.
It's a nice, small,
that
lightweight
ought to work
one.
out pretty good. I just thought I'd show you guys that. And hopefully this spring we'll be getting that stuff out pretty soon. I'm already anxious to start messing with mowers. I'm tired of the cold winter. Even though we haven't really had much of a winter, it's still enough that I don't like it because I can't stand cold. But that's another story.
It's coming. It's coming.
But anyway, I think that's going to work out good the way I've got that.
The grinder might work good on that.
I think that's the perfect place for it. I got plenty of light.
I saw that.
And it's out of the way, so we will see.
Yeah.
Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this brief little update. Be sure to like and subscribe.
Hit the like button. I'm coming back. Yeah, I saw the grind. I saw the blowers underneath there. Let me catch up. Let's see. That was a painful image of the Biden zone. I can remember the bench price, David. My brother says, when asked, R.E. Trump we will keep him from running. Yes. Asked publicly 2 years ago. Yeah. Sworn statement. We'll keep him off the ballot. And now they say, and David says, good night, Dave. He's now they claim that even if he gets in, like they'll just keep with the lawsuits and everything. They'll stall government. Essentially, that's their other plan. Let's see. Robert says, I was told I could get $150K grant if I give the people $500 of gift cards. Something does not feel right about this matter. Yeah, tell me about it. Well, you can always ask lawyers and stuff. So, yeah, that bench I don't want to pound on because the hand dryers are underneath. Yeah, I saw that. That might be a good spot for the grinder, right on the end there where you can get to it. You walk right up to it. Because that's another thing where you don't want things on the right or the left. It's going to make a mess if you put a wire wheel on it. They just tend to be messy. And you're going to want a wire wheel on at least at some point, because there's nothing like having a wire wheel on a grinder. I think it was it Mark or maybe it was Johnny said you need like 3 of them. Yeah, because you need the different stones and you need the buffer and you need the wire wheel. I'm like, yeah, I know. I have like 3. Yep, that's how I have them set up. And 2 of them are really temporarily mounted. One of them is hard mounted. But I put the mowers on that bench. Oh, is that right? You put the mowers up there? Well, you could clamp the bench grinder on. Another good place to put the bench grinder might be more towards the left, where the chain sharpener is. That's another place you could put it. And even your chain sharpener could be over to the left more. It doesn't have to be biased where it is. There's a lot of things you could do. You could also put the mowers, you could maybe, instead of putting up on there, because that could be a little difficult, you could get like, a Pender lift style, setup. Get one of those cheap Harbor Freight pump up jack styles, put a piece of plywood on top of it, put your mower on that, jack it up, get the height you want, bring it down, roll it around. Right? It's a nice movable thing. You can park it somewhere out of the way. Because otherwise you don't want to be lifting stuff. We're getting old. It's hard to, And a PR. Or maybe I buy a grinder and a PR. What's a PR? I don't know what a PR is. Well, we're 3 hours, fellas. All right, we're done. Nice. We made it to 3 hours. Isn't that crazy? So that was fun. That was definitely fun. Scotty Kilmer. Boy, what's with all these RIP for you, Scotty Kilmer? He's always everything's RIP. Everybody's like, I'm quitting. RIP. Not doing it anymore. Whatever. Such clickbaiters. And a pendulum. Yeah, it's under plans. Yeah. Yeah, good night, chaps. Have a good day. Dilly dilly. Yeah, I'm out of here too. I'm definitely getting out of here. Let me set up the. Thanks everybody for coming down and listening to me babble. And so I had fun, and I'll be back. I should be back next week. Let's see. There wasn't an outro I used to have. Let's see if I'll try this one.